Welcome back to another episode of the Red Wagon Inn. I know you're not seeing everybody yet because we have to change things over. And welcome back to another episode of the Red Wagon Inn. So glad to see everybody here. And so glad to see, well, I guess Jakey's gone, but all of the friends back for some more redding of the wagon. How is everybody doing tonight? Especially, look at Drew's little new face if everybody hasn't seen it yet. We have a brand new bust of Ren made by the Jakey of the BoiArts. Look at that. Look how pretty that is. Drew, I think you just had that like commissioned today on a stream.
I did. It was literally he started his stream and I'm like, here's 1,000 bits. Go ahead and make Ren's bust. Please. Thank you. Love you.
Dude, that's how you get quick, fast work done from Jakey. You don't ask for him to do it later. You do it on stream. Also,
that's literally how I did it for last week to get Dinky.
All right, guys, everybody just go pester him on stream all the time, asking him to do stuff.
Just give him lots of money. And
which I guess, yeah, I mean, if he takes money for it, then I guess he's not going to be too upset about it, right? Awesome. We have a dope show planned. We also have a lot of cool things planned that we didn't get to do, or not that we didn't get to do, that are going to happen as a result of the 24-hour charity stream that we did last week, which, by the way, thank you everybody who attended that. I think total, the final number after I added all the YouTube donations in over to the Extra Life stuff turned out to be $3,280.
Dude. That's
Y'all
awesome.
That puts us at the rank 34 in most amount of money raised through Extra Life, which is just bananas. That's so freaking cool. We're so close actually to Pro ZD that I'm like, okay, I may do another stream just to be like, all right, how do we push it over the top to beat Pro ZD so that he goes, who's this Rybonator fellow? What's he do? Why is he better than us? And we are. If we earn more money, we're better than Pro ZD. That's what the rankings mean.
My brain just hit me and reminded me who Pro ZD was. Oh my god.
Oh.
You know who we are?
Don't you Jakey? That's exactly what it means. You earn more charity for things, you're better than them. We're working on it. Also, we showed off your new Ren bust for everybody that you did today so super quickly. Isn't it pretty?
So good.
Really cool. I guess thanks for throwing off what I do today.
Yeah. Everything is one big Jakey shill.
You guys like my new how voice?
I love it.
Wow, the whispers really changed that guy.
Commitment.
Hello, everybody.
So, today we've got some cool other giveaways. We're going to do 4 other tokens just like we did last week. These are mystery tokens. Do you want to tell them what the tokens are now or still let them be a mystery as they pop up?
I think a mystery.
Okay.
But maybe
Mystery will pop up, but I just want to say, so Will is Squatchy, Drew is T3R, Jackie's Snadgery, and I'm
I
Scale.
didn't change any of that. You are correct. I will change that during the recap.
It's actually a surprising Red Wagon.
Oh,
that
that's what Les Malabug said about your character names. I was like, ooh, now that's a cool token idea. Have somebody change name. I thought they were coming up with the cool token thing.
Hello.
Also, while
my name
Robo-
is
Rob was doing that-
T3RR1.
If you're, could we tell one of them at least? One of them? And then keep the other 3 a mystery, perhaps?
How about we tell all of them, but we don't tell what order, who's winning what in? Because I have the order written down already, and so we can just keep the order, but other people don't have to know. Sound good?
Okay.
Okay. So why don't you tell them the one you're thinking, Jakey?
The one I'm thinking, which I think is a real treat. There is a token that will come up today where you can curse a player or NPC with a curse of your choosing. So if you want to ruin a PC's life, well, guess what? You can. You want to make it so that our boy Drew can only say every 3rd word? That's hilarious. Congratulations, Drew. You've been cursed.
You're giving
You want to
them
make
so
it so
much
that this
freedom
character
here.
has a permanently reduced 10 movement speed. Uh-oh! It looks like someone's moving 10 movement speed less.
Do you want to make it to where
Heptagons
Jakey
suddenly-
has to go back 3 levels? Uh-oh, Kurt.
Uh-oh! Whoa, guys.
Hold on.
guys.
Hold on. I need to
Token was
throw
my
some
idea.
terms
You
in
can't
there.
bully me.
I'm fine with it. So it's curse of your choosing, asterisks. Within reason. There can't be like the killing curse from Harry Potter. One of you is dead now.
Every time they say the word they die and come back to life.
So a curse asterisk within reason, but most likely I'm fine with it as long as it's not like they straight up die or like Drew don't talk for 5 episodes. Something that's just more rude than no. Yeah, rude.
All curses are aimed at Drew today.
Hey!
The other tokens that we have, one of them is giving a player a free feat. You pick a player and they get to pick their own feat because that way it fits appropriately within the
I
character.
already have 2 though.
Yeah, well, you can have 3.
You can have 8.
Picking their feet on stream, that's just rude.
Oh, I'm just getting Jakey's joke and I'm sad. Don't shut up.
Wait, hold on. Azur Doots. So
Someone
they can
pops up-
take 1 point of damage every time they say a keyword?
Oh yeah, that's a good curse. That's like every time they say they take a point of damage. Now that's a good curse. Classic curse right there.
Toxic.
Another of the tokens is going to be ask any PC or NPC any question, and they have to answer it honestly. 100%
On
honestly.
stream.
Any question here and now. As long as it's, again, not rude or gets people demonetized. And the final one that we have is you're going to increase a player's stat of your choosing by 2. So if you want Squatchy
Ren to be able to punch
instead of
people and
Dinky,
it actually hurt?
if you want Dinky to be a big buff boy now, then go for it. If you want Drew to have some brains, then you go for it. You know, whatever all the combos are.
Why do you say Dinky for Will's character? And then you say, if you want
I'm saying they
Drew
can
to
give
have some
any
brains,
PC,
jerk.
Drew, or Ren, whatever they want, give them some brains, you know, as you do. It's very Wizard of Oz.
You turd.
Right. With that, so now that y'all know what the tokens are, does anybody have anything they need to shill before I make everybody roll for recap?
I do.
Do it.
I have a shop update tomorrow at 3 p.m. EST. I got 15 sets that are going up. I've got 5 chunky boys. I've got over 50 mystery unfinished D20s. So they're $15. You pay that, you're going to get a mystery D20 that's unfinished. All you got to do is just sand it up and ink it, and it's good to go. So that starts at 3 p.m. tomorrow. And for anyone that buys a set or a chunky dice, you're going to get some local Charleston saltwater taffy with your order.
Look at that.
Oh,
We've all got Drew dice. Everybody loves some Drew.
You love our lad Drew. Go buy his dice, or I'll beat the crap out of you.
Do
I
it.
will beat
Really
the
good,
happy
too.
out of you.
These are just blurry dice. He actually found a way to blur them. So it's
He
new,
literally broke
Took
the
the
fourth
slider.
wall.
Also, another big thing. So yes, go check out Drew's thing. We want to shout out Verity too for 2 things. One, for making amazing recaps on Discord as well as throughout the night, because everybody asks for recaps midway through, and Verity pretty consistently makes them, as do other people, but Verity makes a lot of them. And Verity made a haiku based on last night's episode, which is "The Whisperer's tears, traded for another's sake, a connection lost." Ooh, I like that. It's a good haiku right there. I played a lot of Ghost of
Yeah, it's a
Tsushima
good
last
haiku.
year, and I'm a haiku fan. Right. With that, does anybody else have anything before we roll for a recap? I'm excusing
got one
myself
more.
from this recap as well, since I have to change the names.
one more thing. Happy belated birthday to Rybo. His birthday was yesterday.
It me. I'm an old man now, probably the oldest on stream, so Alex is gonna have to
Shut up.
listen to my wisdom.
Rybonator,
Shut your
more
mouth.
like Dilfonator. Let's go.
Straight boomer, straight dilf. That's me. That's the dilf part. Just have to cough all the time for no reason.
Michelle, you're great. It's you viewer, you're amazing. It's been a very long time that we've all been in quarantine and doing things. And the fact that you're doing your part, watching the show, staying home, cuddling with family, sending people text messages to uplift them, whatever you are doing to make the world a better place, we appreciate you. We want you to know that you are great. Thanks for joining and choosing tonight instead of going out with friends and things because the world is crazy. So thank you for making that conscious choice, and thank you for actively being a great person. Okay, love you so much. That's for you. That applause. Let's go.
All of that +1. So I would also like credit for saying something equally as thoughtful. So that
Hell
+1.
yeah! Let's
Yeah.
go, Rival!
Thank you. I mean, it's all part of the day's work, right? You know, I put my pant legs on 2 legs at a time, jump right in there.
No, I don't know anybody as humble as Rybo.
Thanks. I gotta say, I don't either. Right. Let's go ahead and do the roll off for recap, everybody. If nobody else has anything,
Recap.
I'm gonna roll. But if I
Finally.
lose, since I'm changing the names, I'm gonna pick one of you.
18.
17
Okay, that's
with
a
the
high
blood
number.
dice.
I wanna
18 with the jade ivory. Come on, do the makeup hands. There we go.
Macaroni with the chicken strips.
Don't worry, guys. I got this one.
What'd you
That's
get,
a
Will?
one.
Did you get a 1? Oh, good. I did too. So I choose you. You got this. Thanks for taking
Oh,
over.
we gotta rock paper scissors then.
Okay. Well, I'll rock paper scissors it. Rock paper scissors. Lizard
Rochambeau.
spoke. All right. Ready? On 3. We go rock paper scissors. There's none of
Make
this.
sure it's
go
on
crap.
camera, Rybo.
Yeah,
Make
yeah.
sure you gotta lift your hand up.
Ready? 3, 2. All right.
Rock paper scissors.
I don't know. Seems like all right. If I lose, I choose Will. If I have to.
All right, guys. All right, let's start this recap then.
Also, thanks. I like these dice too.
So, the team had escaped the casino. They left the casino and they were exiting the pillar. And as they were walking through the back alleyways, they heard some rustling. And they look over and a giant pile of trash was rumbling around and a bunch of raccoons exploded from the pile. And out popped up this little short stinky boy named Dinky. The crew, nicely enough, decided to talk to Dinky and not outright attack him, and ask him what is he doing. And Dinky informed him that he was looking for his best pal Charleston. Charleston is a little squirrel that was kidnapped. Dinky cast Find Creature and was being pulled towards the direction of Charleston. The crew decided to follow along, and they made their way to a mysterious trap dungeon door, a storm cellar door. I remember Rybo having a lot of fun with that door. And
how's it going?
hi. So the team opened the door, and they were being pulled in by this energy force, but they couldn't figure out what was going on. Not until they realized that there were people traveling through the door from the outside. They discovered that if you took the door handles and pulled them together, that it would warp you through. Everyone got warped through, and they got sent to an underground pet battling arena where they saw tons of wizards and cloaks, hats of all varieties. They decided to approach an elderly woman by the name of...
Ooh. This could make or break the inspo.
I'm losing inspiration by the moment.
I won't break it since I forced you to. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. What's going on here? I have like 2 streams. What? Guys? Hey, did you figure out what happened?
It looks like the Discord itself got shut down or something. Like there's an exclamation mark over it.
Yeah, that happened.
We gotta invite Will.
Is he not invited to this channel?
What just happened?
I don't know.
It
One of
looks
my
like
other
Discord just died for 3 of my.
yeah, one of my
servers.
other ones is dead. Can you invite Will to the server, Drew?
Yeah.
I already sent it me first.
Okay, good. You go. What the heck?
Oh, I need to make him a staff. Okay, there he is. Okay, great.
Okay, so
We gotta
Twitch should
change
still
our
be
name,
watching
Jakey.
this, but I have no idea what just happened.
Discord
There we
imploded.
go.
Yeah.
Okay, we're back.
Hi,
I don't
everyone.
know.
Hi.
Discord just died.
West.
Who needs it?
Discord just crunched a bunch of servers. It says looks like we're having trouble connecting. It looks like a bunch of nitro boosted servers because I'm scrolling through
Yeah.
and there's
Mhm.
a bunch of my servers that have crashed, like the Sad
Oh.
Boys one, the Outliners,
Yep.
the Webcomic Treehouse, like a whole bunch. So
This is a
Oh, shoot.
Microsoft DDoS attack.
Oh no.
That was so
they're
convenient
hacking
because
the internet, Jimmy.
Well,
I also said the lady's name and it cut right off, but I said
Oh.
it
Yeah.
anyway. So
Oh, did you?
they were
I'll let
talking to
that one
her,
slide then, since
and-
I forced you to do this one.
And then they noticed that there was a board full of monster names and their betting ratings. They went over to a dragonborn, or I'm sorry, a tiefling that was placing the bets, an elder gentleman with piercing black eyes and very dark skin. Powell was speaking with him and discovered that Marcus was in fact there, and he was actually competing. We weren't able to go and see Marcus and his match because it had already started, and so we were only able to see him if we were to place a bet on another creature. But we found out that Marcus owed a lot of money. He's a gambling addict. The man's got a problem. And Howe decided to wager a magical item that we all know, a vial of tears. This blew this tiefling's mind. He said that he would pay a king's sum, essentially paying off Marcus's debt. Howe selflessly thought, let's do it, and told the tiefling to sign a contract on which us as viewers did not know what that contract entailed. While that happened, Dinky and Zinnia were searching for Charleston in another room. As they were walking down the hall, they ran into a familiar face, a not from Transylvania, very upset gentleman whose life got
It's
completely
Wallachia.
ruined.
Wow.
From
How dare you?
I bet he owns a hotel. Bleh.
And he loves
Bleh.
counting in chocolate.
Hey.
You took me from my home, my one home, not two home, not three home.
So in a very hurried fashion, Zinnia and Dinky scurried down the hall, completely ignoring the pitiful cries of this old poor soul. As they moved down the hall, a door swung open and you could hear cheering, crying, and anger. As we see what we assume is Marcus on his knees, screaming. Drew, can you hit that button? Screaming. Ah! Yeah, he's screaming that. Anyway, he's cursing a lot. He lost. He lost a lot of money.
What is that? Oh, that sound is from my video. Oh god.
He's losing. He lost. He's screaming, and this jerk has Charleston in his winnings pouch. So Dinky goes up and tries to convince him that a gold button has magical properties and is totally worth the prize of Charleston. I can't pronounce his name. Nevik,
You got it.
Nevik, aka Kevin, spelt backwards. Is a real douche, and said that he wouldn't battle us unless we had 200 platinum.
No.
So
I'll
give
stop you there. That is wrong. He's excited to battle you, but he would just trade you the squirrel for 200 platinum.
Oh, okay. And then we're gonna go back to Ren. Ren discovers how sitting in the room, completely confused of what's going on. He asks how, what the heck happened, and how is starting to recall memories from his past that he didn't remember before. And so that's a huge mystery that we'll discover. I think that's kind of everything.
Yeah, you
I think I
absolutely
That
got it
was
right.
very good.
Full,
I tried my best.
Sweet and to the point. Go ahead and take your point of inspo.
Yay.
I was gonna dock you for getting Lyra's name, but you know, obviously you said it when all the audio caught out, and
I
did
totally
force you to
heard
do
it. Totally
yeah.
heard it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be lying to you about Lyra.
So that's how
Well,
tonight's
Man,
gonna be.
it's so weird. Suddenly that inspo's gone.
How'd that happen?
Turn into a stinky brown GFY.
A dinky, stinky brown GFY. We have, as far as the overall standings, before we get started, I have three GFYs. Dinky has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 GFYs. How has 4. Ren has 2. Zania has 5. No
How do I
inspos on
have
my
the
part.
least?
Right. I think it's good enough to start. Is everybody good to go?
Yeah.
Let's go, gamers.
Beautiful. Grab a drink, pull up a chair, and come hang out with us at the Red Wagon Inn as we go back to Ren and Hao. Ren, you were previously just talking to Hao as Lyra was sitting on the table next to you, but you begin to hear a voice, a familiar one, coming from down the hallway where Zania and Dinky had walked away to. But you do not hear their voice so much as you hear an old friend's voice rushing towards you, sounding as if he's kind of at a heavy jog, as he's saying, Korthax! Korthax! I need one more. I need one more as your tiefling friend, Marcus, walks up to the counter, expecting to find the onyx black tiefling who was once there, who he kind of stops and looks around. He says, Korthax, has anybody seen... Or he stops and his eyes go wide at the sight of you, Ren. Buddy. What are you doing here, Ren? What my friend, before he goes over in an offer of a hug to you.
I'm gonna take my hand and extend it out against his chest and just hold it there for a second.
How'd you find this place, Ren?
I'm gonna
I
stand up at this point.
thought you had stopped this.
Yeah, I mean, really close to, actually. I put a bit of extra.
50,000 gold, Marcus. 50,000 gold you've accrued.
So, it's not as big a deal as you think. I had started out with a 5,000 gold wager.
I'm gonna need you to stop because this person just literally gave up almost everything for you to be free, and it was nothing.
Nah.
You owe nothing now because of this man.
What are you talking about? What I don't even know him.
Your debt's clear, Marcus. I need to sit down. You guys need to have this talk. But your debt's cleared. And Hal gets really close, like face to face with Marcus. I didn't do it for you. And so help me God, this conversation better go well. Or that debt is going to be not even close to as scary as I will be. I did it for the person behind me.
Yeah. Okay.
And I walk past him, and I'm gonna go over to the table to Lyra. As Hal's stumbling, looks like he's about to vom.
Hal kind of does stumble over and just kind of falls into the chair almost as Lyra looks you up and down and says, "Are you okay? You do not look well."
So you know how I told you about the past and how I followed the whispers and were magic.
Yes.
I did something very, very reckless, Lyra, and I need your help.
We're going to pause there as you look at her. Dinky and Zania were rushing back mostly to try and find Nevik, but also Marcus, since you know that's who you were looking for. And so as the two of you are kind of walking up, Dinky, are you still a giant ape?
Yeah, I haven't
Okay.
reverted back yet.
Just making sure. So as you kind of almost walk on all fours, using your knuckles to kind of push you forward, you kind of got that ape-like trot moving forward, and it does create kind of a loud step as you and Zania come running down. As Ren, you look to the side and see your other two friends, one which you can only assume to be Dinky based off of not only the ape, but some of the flowers in the ape's fur that look and mimic what Dinky had on. As Zinnia and Dinky approach, Marcus says, I don't know what happened, but yeah, let's talk, buddy. It's not that it was nothing. That's not what I meant. I had this under control, and it was just about to get completely wiped away. But I thank you for you and what your friend did. Let's talk. Let's grab a chair.
Without saying anything, Ren will follow.
Marcus goes over to one of the chairs on the side, enough space for he and Ren to sit. Zinnia, you see Hao and Lyra speaking. Where do you and Dinky go?
We only see Hao and Lyra?
You also see Ren and Marcus.
Okay. I'm gonna turn to my ape friend, just be like, that's the guy we want, right? Gotta get Charleston back to they look like they're kind of in a deep conversation right now. Maybe not. How's looking? What did we miss?
Dinky.
The ape does not speak. He just happens to make the noises that are very similar to what Dinky makes, as, an ape would, naturally.
Oh.
Right. Okay. Slowly quieter. Just gonna compose. Just slowly walk up to Hao. Or just like in his view, because I'm gonna let Marcus and Ren converse.
Okay. You kind of appear just a few feet behind Lyra as how you ask Lyra for help. A giant ape and Zinnia are behind her as she kind of looks to the side and kind of looks up and down and says, I can see that, my friend.
No, it has nothing to do with the ape and them, surprisingly.
Oh.
Hi. Hao's eyes are doing this thing where they're dilating like a lot, and like there's the odd moment where like Hao's jaw snaps into a different place, and like his muscles are like convulsing, and he's like trying to hold on the table, like almost doing the thing where he's trying so hard to keep like a normal conversation. Tears are just streaming down his face, and he is like grinding his teeth so it sounds like stone shifting right now from the amount of pain he's in right now.
Zinnia and Dinky, I need you both to roll me insights.
Yeah. Okay. 12.
Dinky and Gorilla Brain, so 5.
Oh. Him drow. Understand. As,
Yeah.
also, Strongheart says, right, if anything goes anywhere and they happy, I happy until Rybo ruins it somehow. Fair. As Zinnia, you take a look at how you're not entirely sure what's going wrong. He's kind of moving erratically, but you can't see his eyes from your angle, which would paint the whole picture that something is horribly going wrong. But he's just almost like somebody who's had a bit too much, maybe a fix of something that they shouldn't have. He's kind of behaving sporadically. As Lyra says, well, okay, you see, and she kind of puts her like 2 fingers up under your chin as if examining you and kind of pulls at your cheeks. I need you to make me a con save.
Okay, that's fitting. Natural 1.
Start the day off right, everybody.
Let's
Today
roll
with
them
a
high.
bowl of natty ones.
So
Delicious.
I need you, Hal, to take half of your max hit die and damage. So as if you were healing, you should be level 7. So we're gonna have you take 4 hit die plus your new con and damage.
Cool. 4 hit die, you said, or
Yeah,
or...
so for your new stat up on that.
Yeah, let's go. Already rolling, so that's a yep. Okay, so that's 9.
Oh no.
Oh man! Oh boy! The lowest roll was a 4.
Good.
So that's okay. That is 27 damage, if my math is correct.
Ooh.
Beautiful. So we're gonna pause there as we go back to Ren and Marcus having a conversation. So we'll just keep that in mind as Marcus sits down at the chair, slides out a little stool before sitting right across the kind of 2-person table. He says, I don't know if you want me to be the one to talk first.
You know your house blew up?
What? What? How? Did you... Who did that? Did you see who did this?
I did. In fact, and you see almost a little smirk on Ren's face.
You son of a bitch.
we went to go find you, and yeah, wouldn't you know it, we were reading the note on the door that you told us to come find you, and wouldn't you know, some TD came and tried to attack us because they thought we were you.
Huh. Did you see the note I put on the door that kind of gave hints for anybody that I might know that maybe that was there to distract the TD who would come to my house that are looking for me? Did you think about that? Because that's there to make sure that TD doesn't come and find me, because then they would think that they already did. Somebody else had already come and paid me a visit.
How much do you owe them?
I don't know. Not a lot. It could have been none had I finished what I wanted to do here in the arena. They just need me to do work for them, but I was going to pay it off to where I didn't have to do work from them. So why did you do that, Ren?
I didn't say I blew it up.
Who blew it up?
I mean, I think that's irrelevant, that there was a fight and we almost died trying to come find you. Just throwing it out there.
You fought outside or inside the house. Which did you do?
Both.
Oh,
actually.
So it blew up because of the fight or before the fight?
Oh, that's up to perspective on that one.
Let me get your perspective on it, Ren.
A little bit of both, actually. It started inside, and someone blew a hole in the wall, and then
you're not even supposed to be here, my friend. You weren't supposed to. I could have found you if you needed me. This was going to get resolved today, and then we would have been fine. But let me take it back here for a moment. Thank you for what you and your friend have done to remove my debt. I don't know what it is. I plan to ask. What did you just have? 50,000 gold coins? Have you been doing very well for yourself?
No, he did something that I'm not exactly sure how he did it or why he did it, but he did it. And when I left, I thought you were going to be all right.
my friend, I'm fine. I was gonna be fine. I appreciate all of what you've done here. But what did he do that's worth 50,000 gold? As you kind of lock eyes with Marcus saying that, how?
Yeah.
You begin to cry out in agony. As, Xenia, you watch a number of things happen. The best descriptor I can give part of it is the polyjuice potion from Harry Potter. You begin to see Hal's skin bubble and move, and the muscle beneath the top layer of skin rearrange itself. All that before you begin to hear the cracking of bone, as how your jaw that kind of popped and dislocated itself, your neck extends out a little further than it once was. Your elbow breaks itself, trying to realign itself before suddenly retaching once more. Essentially, every socket, your shoulder, your knees, everything in your body quickly dislocates itself and immediately relocates itself back. It is incredibly painful. It's not anything that can kill you outright, but it is also not something that you ever want to experience again. It's awful. Your fingers, instead of curling forward, curl back all the way once before rejoining their regular space. And they seem to be maybe about a quarter of an inch longer than they once were. As Hal cries out and writhes in this horrible pit of agony. Xenia, you begin to see this happen. Lyra moves as how you kind of knock the table away involuntarily as you start rolling on the floor. Lyra looks over to you, Xenia, and says, has this happened before? What's going on?
Wait, was she touching him
No,
at all? Or
no.
oh,
She's sitting
I thought
across.
you meant like a...
She was examining him for a moment, but then
Got
this
it.
starts happening. You
Without
may
even
not
thinking...
trust her, but that's all on you.
Got it. And without thinking, Zinnia's gonna run up to him and cast Cure Wounds at first level to see if that will help with anything.
Okay. As you reach down, how you begin to just kind of pulling your arm back where it should not be able to stretch out. Xenia drops to the floor. Ren, you've heard this commotion at this point as the table's been knocked over. Y'all are in a small, maybe 30 by 30 room. Marcus looks over. All of the other magical entities in here are staring at Hal writhing on the floor. Not many are getting up to do anything about it, but they are staring at him. Lyra now stands as Xenia kneels on the floor, a big ape right nearby. Marcus and you kind of look over. Xenia, you place your hands on his shoulder and almost kind of like a tape dispenser where you pull on the bottom button and it kind of pulls back in. His arms kind of relocate themselves as, tell me how heals for.
9 points
9.
of health for
How
now.
you
Yes.
get 9 back. It feels
Nice.
like a sunburn where aloe is put on it. It's relieving. It kind of stings a little bit as this happens, but you begin to feel all of the discomfort that you're feeling start to slowly fade. And now you just feel like you've been working out for like 10 hours the day before. All of your muscles are sore.
How? Oh my god, what's happening? What happened?
How now, like, shaking to like stand up is now like about like from being like originally How was around like 5'5". He's now like a slender like 6 feet tall. He has like a much more rounded like sharper jaw. He has bigger like set lungs. He has more like broad like shoulders that are like a little like he's not super like muscular built, but he looks like almost like a if I were to describe like Winter Soldier like runner kind of like physique. He is like his eyes are much like rounder and more soft, but there's still that dark hue. His hair is a little longer down to like the back of his neck now. He has like more of a lithe kind of physique now. And he shakes and he stands and like wobbles and like grasps onto the table. And he looks at Xenia and almost there's a moment where he's like very confused and then like and he just like basically grabs Xenia's like face and just starts like doing like just like kissing on top of her head, just like, oh my god, Xenia, Thank you. And he wraps his arms around her, and he's like full on, like full body shaking, like someone shivering.
Oh my god. I cast Cure Wounds at 2nd level now.
Okay. How much does he heal for this time?
He heals for 5
As
plus 4 plus 3, so 12.
as you hug Zinnia, just kind of full, almost shivering as you do so, it feels as if the hug itself soothes your muscles. Is exactly what you needed. That kind of close comfort from a friend is the medicine that the doctor prescribed, right? As Zinnia, you begin to make Hao kind of glow a radiative red as soothing energy pours out from your paws as you touch his back. He's now not much shorter than you are as he stands tall. You're not entirely sure what's going on here as that kind of sentiment is brought forth by Marcus to Ren as well, as he says, is that what happened? Was that part of it? What did he do?
So at this point in time, Ren's going to push away from the table and run over to Hao.
Marcus will join and follow. Lyra.
I have nothing I can do, but I just want to be there.
Right. Lyra kind of looks down and says, "What on earth have you done? You look... Have you polymorphed yourself into something different? If so, why? Such a minor change."
Hal like raises his hand to like Lyra just get her to stop. And then he looks to Zinnia. Is this what it sounds like? And Hal is like tearing up right now.
What does what sound like?
The creaking of floorboards. People talking in other rooms. Breathing of people around. Is this actual quiet?
Quiet. What do you... Wait. Quiet? How? What? Have you... lost...
They're gone.
What in God's name happened while we were looking for Charleston? What is going on?
And Hal looks kind of like sheepishly at Ren. I had offered my pendant I wear. It was a gathering of tears from the whispers.
Need
I got it
Dinky,
when I was
Zinnia,
young.
and Ren to roll a perception check. Sorry to interrupt you,
Oh, that's okay.
but it's in relation.
16.
First technical roll of the night, nat 20.
Solid.
Ooh.
18.
Dinky, you see kind of a turn in Marcus's eyes and like, what did he say? As Ren, you're kind of right near Marcus. You can feel as he kind of like looks down at Hao, kind of seeing what's going on here. You can hear an intake of breath, like a startled, as if he recognizes something right off the bat. Continue, Hao.
I gave up that vial because Marcus had accrued so much debt, and Marcus and I look pointedly at Marcus. Marcus can't help us if he can't help himself. I mean, Marcus means so much to you, Ren, and Marcus is going to help you get home, Zinnia. So for everybody, it was nothing but good. It would have saved us.
Drow.
And
Marcus kind of interrupts you and gets right near your face, eye to eye. How I need you to roll me an insight check.
Insight is still +0, but that's an 18.
Okay. He gets right in front of you. You can sense some concern in his eyes and in his voice as he says, "Drow, you spoke of paying my debt with these tears of the Whisperer. Very carefully, who did you pay off my debt to this club to?
It was a man behind the desk. He had black eyes.
His eyes close, and you can almost see him shake a little bit. He says, "Perhaps the 6 of us, Lyra, if you would mind, should continue this in my preparation room. Would you please join me for some tea?"
Yeah. Before we go, Ren, Zinnia, I guess Dinky as well. You can still call me Hal if you want to. But I remember everything. This is who I was born like. This is me. My name is Rothamir. I was born in the Underdark. There's a lot to explain, but I was a very lost person. And the Whispers helped me, but they...
And how is, like, thumbing his mask?
The Whispers also took
Drow,
years for me.
best to soothe your nerves over a spot of tea first.
Yeah. Lead the way.
And Ren's gonna kneel over and help Hal get up and say it's a nicer name anyway.
When everyone walks ahead, Hal's gonna be the last to go. And he puts his mask on the ground and he steps on it and walks out of the room with them.
As if everybody's continuing to walk, Marcus begins leading people forward. Lyra kind of gives a loud sigh as she looks down at the mask and kind of picks it up before just setting it on the table where we were in case you want to get it later, but she does set it on the table and grab her stuff to follow Marcus into a room. Is everybody following Marcus at this point?
Yes.
Yes, but I'm gonna help support House still by like leaning against him and walking to the room.
Okay.
Oh, Dinky's gonna just pick up How.
As Zinnia kind of does the arm
carry
thing,
him.
Dinky does put you on his shoulders like someone would a small child before like continuing to gorilla his way across the floor.
Oh, be careful, be slower, gentle. Okay, all right.
How just kind of leans
Went.
into it. He's kind of like at first like being like, oh shit. But then he just like lays into it and he's just like kind of running his fingers through like the thick gorilla hair, just being like a lot of what How is doing is like the best way I would describe it is like someone like almost like high as balls just like touching things. Like How is like experiencing actually like it's almost sensory overload. But yeah.
Okay.
But like reverse, if you will.
Reverse. You've been put into a deprivation tank essentially for the first time, and it's kind of freaking you out, but in a good way. As you all walk down the hallway, Ren, what you would have expected from Marcus, you're a bit mad at him essentially for what he's doing right now, without that needing to be said. But he walks alone and silent at kind of a quick pace, trying to get you all to follow. As Zinnia, he turns to the left, as you all went to the right before, where you found your old friend and Nevik and such. You're now going down the leftward hallway. When you get to that same kind of point where it would become a fork in the road, there's a small corridor down there with small kind of room doors on the end of it. Marcus goes to the third one on the left before he quickly places his hand on the door. There appears to be no handle on this, but you hear a sudden click as if kind of a large stone door slides and opens. as Marcus holds it open for everybody to come on in. Everybody wanting to go in? As you do so, Dinky has to kind of squeeze his way in there sideways just to be able to fit into this doorway, as it is a normal person doorway, and you are a big giant ape. As you all do get in, Lyra kind of says, I don't get what the secrecy is. Before Marcus closes the stone door, he reaches into his pouch and places what looks to be almost like modern day tape, but it's very wet as it goes across the seal of the door as he kind of puts it up there. It looks like you're trying to do paper mache, but just on this one piece of the door. He puts both hands up on the door, exasperated, as he turns and looks. Okay, I did keep it together back there. But you made a deal with Korthax for my money.
Your money's... You're freed
That's
from whatever binds you here.
whatever I may have been in debt for before, my friend, you have easily eclipsed. Not for me, but for yourself, and I'm worried greatly for you. You say that you used to have some sort of connection to the God of Whispers, correct?
Yes, I am.
Would you
Used to
care
speak.
if I peered into you for but a moment?
Yes, but before you do that, I'm gonna hand my book to Lyra. While this is happening, Lyra, before I was a patron of the Whispers, I was a scholar. Can you help me with my book?
What do you mean, help you with your book?
There's some things in there that are transcribed to be divined through an extra power, but I was a studier. I followed. How are you part of the Mages Guild?
No, I would say that nobody down here is.
I was one of the first scribes.
Pre or post tower?
I would be post, I think.
Absolutely.
Would
The
timeline?
tower
Yeah.
event happened 125 years ago.
Oh, then I would have been pre.
Okay. That's important to note. Wait, you
Pre.
worked in the tower before everything?
Maybe briefly. A lot of this is coming back to me.
She looks to
I'd get
Marcus. Would you care if I peered as well?
How just pops a squat and crosses his legs.
I have nothing to lose, as long as my friends are safe.
Marcus and Lyra kind of approach, and they kind of nod to each other as both of them put hands kind of on your temple before like touching fingertips as they do so, as they close their eyes. Yeah, exactly that, between the two hands. As you begin to see underneath just kind of subtle hints at words coming out of Marcus's lips, like somebody trying to do ventriloquism, but every now and again they hit a word that requires their lips to move, so it's just ever so slightly. As Lyra, her hair kind of begins to stand up on end, almost as if like a static is growing within the room, as it's very, very silent in here. Ren, Dinky, Zania, as they're doing a spell, what are the three of you doing?
Ren's walking back and forth, pacing. Not liking. Ren's known Marcus for a long time. Ren can read Marcus pretty well, knowing how just royally fuck something up. Unknowingly. And so Ren's walking, pacing back and forth, and would look over occasionally to Zania and just say, "I hate this."
How are you related to this guy?
It's a long story.
You guys
I don't remember a lot of my youth, but what I do know is Marcus did save me when I was young.
got it. You guys, no offense, just coming off as like complete opposites.
That doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing all the time.
It's not. It's just not the type of person I was expecting you to depend on.
He was quite a bit different before I left, or at least I thought he was. I knew he had this addictive personality, but I didn't know it was that bad.
Dinky is pacing around Marcus, kind of scowling at him, and just still gorilla just. Because Dinky's not happy because Dinky was thinking that maybe Marcus could have had Charleston, but he lost. So Dinky's kind of mad, and he's just walking around in circles.
As you kind of gorilla puff out, you see Marcus's hair kind of flow, and he does kind of startle, like as if he's elsewhere now, but he's like, what the hell was that? As your hot gorilla breath kind of moves his hair. As the silence kind of fills this room, as Ren and Zinnia converse, Dinky kind of moves back and forth. How you don't feel anything happening to you. However, you're just kind of enjoying the fact that there's nothing at all.
Oh yeah. How loves that, and How's doing a thing where he's got his hands out, where he's almost like reaching out to Zinnia and Ren because he wants to hold each of their hands. Because like How he looks a little scared, but he's also just like the most calm like he's probably ever been. Like either How is like a little impish smile or something about him, but How is actually just present, and he just like reaches his hands out to both of them.
Do any of the three of you take his hands?
Oh, absolutely. And it's not just like the grabbing hand, it's like the dual hand on top of the one hand, just like.
Are you okay, friend? Zinnia?
Of course, same thing.
Ape Dinky.
Dinky's gonna revert from gorilla shape. And he's gonna go back to his little self. He's gonna shrink down a little bit. Oof. And he's gonna go, friend.
Do you touch his hand as well?
Of course.
Beautiful. All three of you, the second you touch his hand, begin to feel as if the times that you have been teleported before, it feels like a very similar sensation. As you all find yourself standing on the balcony of a great 5-mile tall tower. You stand next to your friend, How, clad in black robes, trimmed in blue, that reach the floor. As he reads a scroll off into the sunset and distance, you see Lyra, and you see Marcus. Before a voice approaches from behind How. How, you're experiencing this all over again, but your current present How does not feel any of this at all. But you can play yourself and react accordingly, as you would have
sick.
back then.
I have no idea what's about to happen.
As How, you stand there and read your scroll, practicing your magics, manipulating the twines of fate and mana within this scroll. Suddenly, you hear a voice you don't want to hear anymore, as an old elvish voice says, How? And you turn around and see a high elf, though his skin pale and gray from lack of sunlight. White hair and long gray robes of the Archmage of the Mages Guild. Jeft, this is bad news. Seeing him, you might be caught. He says, How? You know that we have rules here. You know that I would be watching. Why would you do this?
I need to. I understand you are all purveyors of what is on paper, but there is so much more beyond these scrolls. You know this.
There is a time and place for experimentation like this. You're not ready for it yet. I told you. There are rules that mana and magic has to adhere to, especially here at the tower. The balance is so delicate. Manipulating magics like you have been doing. We cannot stand for this.
So what would you have me do? Give away something I am clearly gifted in? You yourself have had so many people around you turn a blind eye on things that you have done. And I'm not saying malicious, but even good. The experiments you've tried, I'm sure even as a child you've tried things.
I have earned that right, Drow. And you could have earned it too. You're a promising student. But you will not listen. What you're doing is dangerous. If you can promise me, right here and right now, that you will not manipulate mana without direct supervision of a professor, then you must leave the tower, or I will remove you myself.
You know I can't agree to that. You know I can't. I am so close to figuring out what ties it all together. You think that these are separate strands of ink on paper, but all of them connect. They are all beautiful, and there is a tapestry under this. Just let me find it. Please.
Give me a robe, Hal.
How or Rothamir, I guess, takes the robe slowly
Yeah,
off and is just
he would
wearing
have been
the-
saying Rothamir during all this. My bad. That's just me messing up.
takes his the large robe off and is just in a bare tunic and trousers.
He folds it up. As he does so, Hal, you hear something as if somebody called out your name off the balcony. You're 5 miles up in the air. You look to the sunset and you hear what sounds so close, as if somebody whispered in your ear, and you turn and look to the sunset. As Hal holds out his tunic, Zania, this elvish man, seems to walk right through you, as if you're a projection there, as he goes up to snatch Hal's robes out of his hand, which kind of suddenly brings your attention back, Hal, as he says, "This did not need to happen. I wanted you to continue my work one day, but you don't have the discipline yet, Hal. I'm sorry to do this. Where would you like to go?"
You know beyond this tower I have nowhere. It doesn't matter where you send me. But know wherever you send me, I will be practicing. I will not lie to you and say that I won't. I must. And I am going to show you someday. I am going to make a book, and I will show you that every spell is connected. I will prove it to you that it's not just chaos and rubbish.
I do not doubt your merits, Hal, but I do doubt your methods. Before he kind of puts his hand behind your neck as if to give you a good stern look. Roll me a perception past Hal, Rothamir.
I don't think I have anything very good in perception, but that's still. Oh yeah, +3. So that's a 21.
21. The man without emotions, the archmage who cares not, has never once given someone a hug or positive reinforcement in any way. You see his eyes well up a little bit before you feel yourself being pulled off to a different location. As Dinky, Ren, Zinnia, all of you are pulled back into reality. As Marcus and Lyra both kind of they look at you, Hal, and say, "So that was the first time you heard a whisper?"
I think so. Yeah. It was weird. It was like static at first, I guess. It I heard them, and then when I was ported and they found out, it was after I'd spent some time in confinement when the whispers started getting louder. And then I saw the whisperer. It was so gradual, I guess.
Okay. I thought it might be worse. I need to process this. I need to look into this more. I might need to spend some time with you.
Okay.
I think that you are the victim here of something that you did not know. You were in the guild once upon a time. You wove magic against the Archmage's command. I do not know the old one. I know the new one. And they are, as I hear, as different as mud and water.
The old Archmage wasn't bad. I know from those memories, I know he seemed harsh. But he wasn't. And he's now addressing the whole room. Magic is something that is very, very delicate, and I understand his reasoning. I didn't at the time because I wanted to practice spell manipulation, which is very dangerous, hence why I asked if you're in the guild, because I know they don't approve. But it's something I love so much, of finding what spells connect. And I was one of the first people to start the craft. I don't think I'm still an expert at it, but I'm relearning and remembering the things I wrote. The scrolls I had. I need my book though. My
Lyra holds her hand up and says, "Whatever work you may have been doing that didn't begin back then exists heavily now. The Mages Guild has taken an entirely different stance after the tower fell on scribes. Manipulation of magic is taught and learned at the guild. It is no longer a forbidden practice. Within the guild, and watched under careful eye, there are many who practice it. And many who die to practice it."
Howie just starts happy crying. Howie has been in so much pain, and he's just like,
I'm sorry. I set out of there, and I thought that I know everything in me told me what I was doing was wrong. There's that little seed of doubt that follows. It's nice to know, even though it's supervised. I'm not a fan of supervision, I'll be honest. But it's very nice to know that that we that the magic is practiced and they're learning about it. That's nice.
As Hal kind of smiles, I didn't want to interrupt in the middle, but it is time to finish one giveaway, and then we'll continue from there, because we had to let Hal talk about and give him a glimpse into the past, which I don't even think he knew was going to
That
happen.
lore.
I didn't know. I just, yeah.
Yeah.
I love
Lore.
that. That's exciting.
I hope you enjoyed. Cool. The raffle's over, so let's pull a winner, and let's see who wins this one, and I'll tell you what they win as we go ahead and pull it up. By any other winning name. Congratulations. See, you consistently
Which
come, you
one?
win a
Which
lot.
one was it?
By another itty name.
This is
By another name.
actually a decent timing here. by any other witty name, you win the token that allows you to ask any PC or NPC any question, and they must answer you honestly. You can take your time, or if you have some burning question on your mind, you can ask it. If you want to ask team, does he really think that they stole the Sun Spear, and finally get out of him once and for all that he knows they're bad guys? You could do that.
I'm the bad guy. Duh.
As yeah, so you have that token. Keep it. Use it whenever you like. Whenever you do use it, we'll put a quick pause and answer your question. Go ahead and start the next giveaway. You don't need to use it tonight. So if you want to think of the question by any means, but whenever you say like, I'm using my token, remind in the chat what your token is, and we'll make it happen from there. So we'll go ahead and start the next giveaway, as we're, again, not going to tell which one that is.
Started.
Great. It's already started. Then make sure you all enter that one. As we continue, Hal kind of sits there and smiles for a bit. Lyra looks over to Ren, Zania, and Dinky, kind of looking as if you all look a bit more than originally met the eye. You're very Transformers to her. As right. Right.
Did you just quote Transformers?
What? What?
You just said Transformers more than meets the eye.
Somewhere a Warforged is looking over a cliff going, there's more to them than meets the eye.
Terry.
There is more to them than meets the eye.
99 Unicorns said they're proud of me, so I'm not taking a GFY.
Chat has invoked the punishment of GFY.
Fair enough.
While Lyra's giving that whole look of like, you know, like we can literally see on her face like, oh, these people actually are something.
I know we seem like a bunch of weirdos. We get that a lot.
Yes, but I have a thought. Just allow me to think it through before I continue. Please, ignore me. For Marcus, as you now are all kind of are in the room and able to look around, you see there is one bed built into the stone here of this area. It's a soft bed as it sits on the side. There's one large table where there are maps, scrolls, and books strewn about with a couple of chairs, a small bookcase with only a few books in it, more probably Marcus's journals, as this is almost like a long-term hotel type situation, a room that he can rent out here as if he's going to be here for quite a while, which he had planned to be. There is one light that seems to be kind of ever burning that just falls from a chain down at the bottom, though there is no basin for which the flame sits. It seems to almost float directly beneath the last link of the chain to provide light in here. As Marcus says, I also don't know the extent of what's happened to you, Hal, but I do know the person that you gave freely to is not the person that I would do such a thing to. I worry about that, but perhaps that is a worry unfounded. Thank you for what you did, obviously, and I'm not entirely sure about this. Perhaps this is for the better. You seem to have lived a once learned and scholared life, and forgive me, I poked around a bit more than what you all saw.
It's fine. I assumed you would. I'm still grasping with it myself.
Ren, how did you come to meet? As he points like to Dinky sitting on the chair and Zania off to the side.
I made my way to Ashburn. All the way down there. And I was sleeping in a cave. And they showed up. And I remember you had told me before I left that I wasn't ready to go adventuring, but it was true. But they helped me get back.
I should have gone with you, my friend. I'm very sorry. I had a small amount of debt here at the time, and I paid it off. I had planned to set off to help you, but it got worse when I tried to outsmart TD, and forgive me there, I lost my head for but a moment, but this is more important. What can I do to help you now in this group? You all have obviously aided me greatly. What can I do to help you? As he kind of looks at all of you at the same time by saying you.
If I may, Marcus, if you know anyone, or have any way of disguising yourself, I didn't want to say, but all my clothes are too tight right now.
I think I have some extra in the chest, near the bed.
How just like does the thing where he goes to like the back of the room, and almost like as if it's second nature, he doesn't think about it. Just like a little curtain appears behind him, and he starts like changing. And then Hal like pauses and be like, "Oh yeah," and he starts changing.
Ren, why don't you tell me what new clothes Marcus would have in his chest for How to be wearing that isn't his traditional stuff? So what would Marcus's backup clothes be?
They aren't new by any means. A lot of them are patched and kind of like that boho feeling to them. You can think of like harem pants and things of that nature.
Oh yeah.
There would be like they would be very thin robes and almost like they at one point were fancy trench coats. But now they faded, like you can have the sun fading on the shoulders, and you can tell they've been very well worn.
As How is changing, Marcus still kind of looks at all of you like, well, if he just wants clothes, that's fine. But if there is something I can do for you, please.
I need
reason-
Charleston back.
Who?
My friend. My pal. The squirrel.
Well, where is he? I can go get him for you.
Nevnak has him.
Nivek?
Yeah, that jerk.
How did he get... Sudden realization hits his eyes. Yes. I think I saw in his prize bag that he did have a squirrel.
It's kind of interesting because Nevik said that he got it from you.
Mm-hmm.
I think
And
the
Dinky's
way
gonna
that I
get
saw
closer
that
to Marcus. He's
Might-
gonna get closer to Marcus.
might have been me giving him the squirrel.
Giving something that's not yours to begin with.
I, in my own defense, saw a familiar just running along the city floor and thought that perhaps it had been lost, and Nivek is a man of magic. If he had an owner, then he would have just called him back. Is that your...
You don't touch what's not yours, especially if it's an animal.
What? I saw.
They are free creatures.
I saw that it
How
was just a
can you
familiar.
do such a thing?
Why don't you just call him back? You can do that. Can you not?
I turned to Dinky. He's a familiar.
No, he's a
Oh.
friend.
There you go.
So you just made friends with a familiar?
Dinky didn't know. Dinky was familiar with him, but doesn't know what you mean.
Can't we just... If I could teach you how to... Are you magically oriented?
Oh, Dinky is. Dinky's gonna snuff out the light with Druidcraft and then put it back on.
That's not my
Light
kind
switch.
of magic. I wish you were a wizard. You're a druid of the forest, am I right?
Mm-hmm.
I cannot teach you how to recall it. I can't. If you don't, if you don't know how to bring it back already, I can't help you with that unless you want to spend years learning wizardcraft, which I don't think you do. That makes
do you
this
know
my fault. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
How do you know he's a familiar and not just an animal? How can you tell the difference?
I was looking for magical trinkets out on the city streets that I thought I could. He kind of looks at Ren a bit embarrassed. Barter for another round.
Okay, and so Charleston had like a magical trinket on themselves, or
I was searching for magic. I saw him enveloped in magic.
oh, okay, interesting. Hmm.
Dinky, humor me for a second. Hal's gonna go to his spell book where he used to cast Find Familiar, or I guess this is now like there's a difference. Like whenever Hal pulls open his magic book, there was this distinct of like pulling at threads and things, but now Rothamir walks over and he like grabs at his like old book and he's like flipping through some of the pages and then looks at Dinky.
Dinky, do you have a spell focus? Like, do you have druids usually use a sprig of mistletoe, or a scepter, or a staff, or something that is close to you?
A U wand.
I think he's gonna go. Oh, and he's gonna reach in his hood, and he's gonna pull out a stick that pins his hair up, and his hair's gonna drop down. He goes, "Would this do?"
Perfection. I'm going to. Can you open your palm for me? Now, when I usually cast this, I'm gonna get because I still had the incense and stuff that I was using regularly. I'm gonna sprinkle it into his hands. I need you to cup this, okay? Now,
Okay.
this is the way I connect with, and he snaps, and then
Pickle appears. This time Pickle looks a little different. And I didn't think about this. Pickle's voice would change, but we're gonna burn that bridge when we get to it. But he shows. Now, do you see how this appears?
Whoa.
I have a little bit of incense between my fingers, and I snap. Now, I don't know what you do, but you have your wand. What I need you to do is you are going to take that incense. You are going to focus on your squirrel. I want you to rub it on your hands and flick your wand. And imagine if your squirrel was going to a place that was their own, like a small tree hut or a hole. And then after doing that for 10 seconds, I want you to point it somewhere with your stick, and I want you to imagine your squirrel Charleston there. Can you try both of those steps for me?
Yeah.
Dinky, as you do
Dinky.
this, I'm going to need either a nature or an arcana check from you.
You can do it.
Nature.
So help me God. If this whole
God.
thing he just suddenly gets like a squirrel's here.
Dinky's gonna guide himself because he's gonna give him a little pep talk. So he's.
Would I be able to give him advantage because I'm walking him through all the steps? Like, is this the help action?
I would say you're allowing him to do this.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah. Also, chat right now. I'm adoring
Chat is
this.
the best.
Chat is trying to. It's for those who can't see chat, which you should all be able to see at least the highlights down there. It was kind of established that Korthax hears what chat is saying since he took over Howe's powers, and so they have been going nuts trying to annoy Korthax. But then they started singing Black Parade, and I'm like, he's an onyx black tiefling. You think he isn't into this?
That's his
He
aesthetic.
is as emo goth as it gets.
Way later down the campaign, Korthax comes up. Take the tear back. No, take
it's
it,
yours.
please. No, you made this choice. It's yours, dude. Hey, Whispers, never gonna give. Well, why are they singing with you? How do they know that one?
Take it
How
back.
did they know the
Take it
writing
back.
inside the cape? Dinky got a 22.
22.
Hey!
Sure.
Okay. I actually set the DC as 20, so.
Amazing.
So, Dinky, you describe how you would go about casting a spell as Dinky that you aren't entirely sure how to do. You're just trying to feel it out.
Dinky's kind of like kind of grooving a little bit. He's kind of getting a little vibe. He's imagining like a nice like jungle bongo beat, like a boop, 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 and he's gonna go, yeah.
As you start feeling it, you actually don't imagine. You grab one of the small stools right next to the table and just flip it over in front of you as everyone's kind of looking at him, a bit quizzical. You're not entirely sure how this happened. You felt this surge of magic one time before when you were a young boy.
Oh.
Happened to be right before you met your best friend.
He's imagining this lush, crazy grove.
You thought that was the flower nearby, and that was your happy place. And that's why, Charleston came to you. He also must have felt the good magic of the forest. As suddenly your hand, whoosh, maybe about 3 feet above the air, just a small little squirrel kind of floats as if trying to swim on nothing for a moment before gravity sets in and it falls and immediately runs up your arm and kind of twirls around your neck just excitedly, almost like a dog who's got the zoomies, right? It just keeps running around every part of you, up and under your armpit, around your neck, around your head, jumps up and down, and keeps making very squirrely, squeaky noises. Dinky.
Is that Charleston?
Charleston! Oh, good buddy.
Yep. Okay.
Dinky.
Since we had Kermit before play Atta.
What is Charleston's voice that you need?
A southern debutante.
Oh, I was about to give a suggestion, but you know what? I like that more. I'm not gonna
I'm
say
talking-
my suggestion now.
A Charleston smooth like molasses, slow kind of accent.
So you're talking more like a Savannah accent comes from Charleston. Yes, it does.
There we
A
go.
little bit
There
of
we go.
foghorn leghorn, I do declare. As
Hey now, don't make fun of our governor, all right? I'll say it.
Yep, foghorn leghorn, exactly.
as you're like, Charleston, I love you. He's like, oh, I miss you too, Dinky. You really were a friend of mine, and I was stuck inside that horrible know-nothings pouch for too long. It is good to see the outside once again, my old friend. As he looks at you with the buckest of teeth. He is a tiny little squirrel. His teeth are almost as big as his mouth. He has kind of that, like, I forget what type of squirrel, but his hair's like kind of up on both ears where it kind of sticks upward. A very wild looking squirrel, not at all like a one you might see in the city.
Like a red squirrel.
Yeah, red squirrel, exactly. Though he's going very, very quickly, his voice does not at all match it. But that's your friend. That's who you know. As everybody else just hears, he's like, oh, Dinky, as kind of goes on.
I was so ready for just squeak, squeak, and squeaker.
Squeak, squeakers. Squeak,
It's
squeaker.
Dinky. It's me.
Squeak,
Next
squeaking,
squirrel.
squeak, squeaker.
Squeak, squeakity. Squeak, squeakers.
That is Charles Charleston, owner of the Charlestown Charles Dome. Dome.
As everyone suddenly sees this squirrel that they thought they were going to have to fight tooth and nail over appear in Dinky's hand as Marcus kind of... You hear another loud exhale. I'm very sorry, Dinky, that I possibly stole your familiar, but see, I thought if the owner had done it, they would be able to bring it back, just like you. There you have your friend, thanks to Rathomir.
Close enough.
The real reason we're here is we're being chased by an assassin. Look, I'll be honest. And it's mostly coming after her. We need to get to Red Rock. And that's why we came to you.
Okay. Do you mean Red Cliff?
Yeah. Sorry, I'm not familiar. I haven't been there.
Why do you need to get to Red
Rock is a
Cliff?
festival that they have there. I think that's what you were referencing. But anyway.
What was that? How? One more time to see if the GFY detector got it.
I said Red Rock is a festival that happens there every so
Oh
often.
no, that's not a GFY. You must
I think he
just be
goes to
mistaken.
Woodstock.
Okay, that's
Yep.
All
right.
Number 7.
There we go.
Well, not only just for her, we have a couple other people that were with us, and one of them also needs to go there to speak with her god. So
This is the least I can do. I can make that happen. Yeah, I can do that. If you want to get to Redcliffe, I can easily take you all there.
do you have any good ways of getting rid of a unwilling assassin while you're at it?
What?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
There's a unwilling assassin that's anyway you could
I feel like he's fully willing in what he's doing. How like Rothamir smiles to himself and then lets out this like dumb little like
Was that a
Just-
laugh?
deadpan expression on Ren.
I pat Rothamir on the back like, nice to have you. Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry. Forgot my strength. Sorry.
It's funny because about an hour ago that probably would have hurt significantly more. I have bone structure now. You know, I'm not strong, but I feel like I feel hardier. Like I can actually like okay, you know when we were running from all the water and stuff and I just stopped to wheeze every 5 seconds? I'm sorry you had to see that first off. But I feel like I can actually do that and not wheeze, and that's a nice feeling. That is a
Alright.
very nice feeling.
Are you telling me that chat was holding you back?
I feel like chat gave me the ability to speak to people and like understand what people are feeling, like a lot of like empathy and connection things that I'm going to be honest, have you ever felt socially inept?
All the
Because
time.
that is something I'm feeling right now. Yeah, okay. I'm glad we can. I am realizing how many books I have read over the span of my life and how much I enjoy reading. And like the fact that we're in a room with this many people, like I actually like my hands shaking right now. And that wasn't a thing that happened before. Like I'm remembering so much at once. Also, Marcus, I'm sorry, I'm kind of scatterbrained. And while like How is doing like, or Rothamir is doing like 3 things at once, where he's talking to Xenia. There's this like light coming from his hand as he's casting mending. These like ripped to shreds pants are like sewing themselves as fabric is like weaving around, so he's fixing them to kind of make him his own. But he's like, do you have like an extra spell book or know of where I could get one? That is something I actually need because I realize this book of shadows is great and it's nice, but it's not going to serve what I need.
You know, I see. Looks to Ren. May still.
Nah, probably not.
I might not. We would have to check.
I hate hearing that. Okay.
But if not, I can get you one. Not a problem. Do you
Not
want
to
that book
help.
anymore?
Not to call people out in the middle of your conversation, but it may have been Flint who blew out the wall to your house.
Flint? Of all... I know I've been doing seedy things, but I told you what a bad influence he is on you. And you
Oh, that
you let
rich.
Flint into my house?
This is rich. Oh my god! Wow.
Wait.
Somebody
you,
call a high stakes table because this is gold.
you
No,
think
don't stop
that
on our account.
Flint? No,
Sorry.
please going. I'd like to hear how you think that Flint is troublesome.
Yeah.
Flint had a full ride scholarship through the Mages Guild for his academic integrity as well as his wealthy parents. And he dropped all of it to
Man.
play some music that he thinks is going to take the world. He could have gone to a bard's college. He could have not wasted his natural gifts. He is one of the greatest wizards that could be on this world, but he will squander those talents pursuing. It's not that I'm against his music. It has a vibe or a beat to it that I can understand.
He sounds really cool.
He is not.
I
Child.
totally no. Marcus, I get it. When someone goes somewhere where they shouldn't be and has people around them that are impressionable and they're wasting their talents and the money that has been given to them or the things that they have earned and other people are cleaning up after them, that does sound like someone who is wasting their time. I agree, Marcus.
I will let you have that one.
I
Ren
will
looks
take
over.
that one.
Ren looks over to Lyra and says, "I was gonna ask for some tea, but it's already being spilled."
All right, Ren, you know you get a GFY.
That's so good though.
It's good. It's
was
very
good.
good.
Zinnia looks at a watch that's non-existent on her hand. She's just like, "Ooh, I think I gotta go somewhere. This is getting a little much."
I don't mean to bust your chops, Marcus, but really, the company we've had, and like, can we just start in this room with a clean slate, all of us? Please.
Wait, not yet. And Ren's gonna come up and slap Marcus in the face. It doesn't do any damage. It doesn't hurt him, but
It's like,
just slap and say, "Okay, now we can."
I will also let that one.
You know you love me and I love you, and you're just sometimes a giant piece of shit. And I still love you, but gosh, sometimes you're just bad.
Whose teleportation magic do we need here?
Ah.
I'm giving it to you, obviously, but it seems that there could be a nicer way to go about it. Either way.
He literally gave up his powers for you.
You blew
Well,
up my house.
How much nicer? Well, maybe you shouldn't have gotten in, bad terms with the TD.
I am not.
And
I
had
am
them
a
attack
foremost
us.
wizarding word in this city, and they force me to do things. I owe them money
Listen,
because I
there's
refuse.
Still some stuff probably on the inside that's still good. Most of the explosions happened outside. Most.
I think we should leave. I think we should drop the matter and leave.
Okay.
And get you to where you're trying to go to this cliff thing. Dinky,
Yes.
you don't appear to be city-oriented. Do you want to go as well?
I feel like I need to help. You help me get Charleston. And Charleston's still running around. These cliffs
this
sound...
is a lot nicer than it was back in the baggy, let me tell you.
All right.
Yo, chat, how are you not giving inspo for this voice? My god, dude. Like, picture the visual, a tiny squirrel who's just like, ladies, please calm yourselves. I'm but one humble squirrel. Like, come on, that's so good.
Excuse
Good
you,
lord.
excuse you, former warlock of the whispers. It's the fellas that... I can't say what I was going to say. I was going to do a very squirrel pun about... what is it that squirrels
crave your
particularly
nuts?
like? But we'll
Honestly,
just
good
leave
for
that
them.
one to not demonetize us.
True.
Now that Dinky has Charleston and my friends help me find my friend, I think that I need to be a good friend and help them. And these cliffs, Dinky's never seen cliffs so red.
Well then, by all means, let me send you along with the group. I'm
We've
sorry
gotta
that I
grab-
took your squirrel. It's at least comeuppance to help you out. Forgive me. I truly didn't mean to cause any harm. I was in a bad way, and it is my fault entirely. I take the blame. But if I can help you with this, allow me.
Okay, but Dinky holds grudges till death.
Dinky.
What?
Dinky.
He is
That's
what?
right,
Dinky
son.
is
Just like
messing
I
with
told you, don't let nobody get away with nothing.
Marcus, before Dinky has this life debt thing.
Marcus is kind of like looking back and forth between Dinky as How's trying to explain to
There's
him.
some way of
Sorry, I gotta mute myself.
either scrying to your house or something, like to see like that I don't. Or Lyra, do you have an extra spell book? And also Marcus, if I can transcribe my spells over, you can have this book of shadows once I get the majority of my spells over. I remember most things. I feel like I have a very keen mind suddenly.
I didn't want to pry in where I wasn't necessarily wanted, but I do keep the occasional extra book in case I learn more. Do you happen to have any of the spells from the old tower in your book? If not, that's fine, but I would allow you to take a book of mine in exchange for taking yours.
I can think of a few. Hal smiles, and I'm gonna start transcribing spells that the party probably hasn't seen before. Ooh-wee.
You don't have to say them out loud. You just you and Lyra
yeah.
kind of go to the side and begin conversing for a moment. As yeah, go ahead.
Hello. Yes, the target of the assassination attempt. That is me, Zania. Question. Red, didn't you kind of send the assassinator to the Red Cliffs?
I did do that.
I mean,
Yeah, I did do that.
Zania,
That's probably honestly where Kinak's going to.
I can take a look at what your assassin, which by the way, I'm sorry, that's awful. I can take a look at your assassin to find out where they are to make sure that I don't send you there, to that part of the city.
Really?
If you can you give me some description? Would you mind if I peered into your mind just for a moment?
Sure. Okay.
He's going to go and basically do the same thing, except this time he uses both of his hands instead of he and Lyra. It doesn't take him long as he closes his eyes. Wow. Okay.
Which memory? What did you see? Did you see the one where he almost killed my friend Team and my 2 rat friends, or was that another one where we were riding horseback? Which one did you see? I'm just
That's
curious.
the one where he attacked the rat friends and you.
Right. Awesome. Yep. We got it close, right in front of me. That's the one.
What did What did you do to? I'm sorry. This seems. Is he just attacking you unprovoked?
It's kind of a long story, but like all the friends that like kind of stole the sun spear stolen. They're not here anymore.
Hold on. You did what?
So there was 4 of us, and I'm the only original member. And so I'm just suffering the repercussions of their original stealing of the sun spear from Kinak.
I thought that was just a myth and a rumor that had been spreading. That did you sell the sun spear? Because I heard that some group of adventurers in Ashburn. You were in Ashburn. Did you get?
I didn't sell the sun spear. I didn't sell it. I didn't sell it. I didn't steal it either, though.
Did you get? What were you there when Ithka, the Emerald Plague, stole the sun spear? Took it?
Girl, just peer into my mind, so I don't have to explain myself. So you just do it already.
See, yeah,
Cast exposition.
Like as he touches it, after like 10 seconds, he. Oh.
Yeah, that's how Ithka looks. She abandoned those eggs. She does not care for children. Bad mother. Very bad.
He looks over to Ren. What friends did you make?
Listen, you weren't there.
I mean, no offense to all of you, but this is some shit.
Well, to be completely fair, I don't really trust you right now yet either, so it's mutual.
Fair enough.
We got attacked by druids too in the forest.
Your people's doing? As he looks to Dinky.
On different druids. These ones are crazy.
Cross sauce-eating trail mix.
Does Charleston get any?
Of course, he's a good boy.
Oh, of course. Charleston sits upon your shoulder and says, well, well, you spoil me, sir, as he continues to eat up some tasty little nuts.
Some macadamia nuts.
Dude,
Oh,
I'm so glad I
macadamia,
don't
his
have a
favorite.
connection mentally to Charleston, because dude, if Charleston said one word to me, dude, that's enough for me to break character every time. God damn. That's I can't. You can't put a sexy Louisiana squirrel in your game. You can't.
Watch me.
Wait until the Sasquatch comes around.
Scratchy. Oh, they would have been.
Squatch
We would have been best of friends, I tell you. I do declare,
tell you
actually.
I'll say.
I'll sit on you. As sorry, Drew. As Marcus says, okay. Give me just a moment. I'm gonna see if I can find where this person is.
Oh, he looks like this.
I just saw into her memories
Oh yeah.
for
Just in case.
one more time. I guess that would have been faster, but if she was asked after her, then I figured that made more sense. But I'm stupid, I guess, as he pulls out a small little silver mirror, and as he just he lets go of it, you all are kind of like, whoa, as you think it's going to fall to the floor, but it floats there for about a moment as kind of looks at it, and then he almost begins like sculpting bits of magic. It looks like he's like trying to make a wave with his hand. He keeps kind of just throwing things up in the air, as you can begin to see, almost like in a video game where somebody's invisible but they're not truly. You can kind of see the light refract around their edges. You begin to see small waves of magic that hold this mirror up and begin piercing through it, as he takes probably about 10 minutes casting Scrying. Is there anything everybody's doing while this is happening? Hal and Lyra are currently working on the spellbook translation and transcribing. Ren, Zania, Dinky.
The guilt is probably overcoming Zania, and she just kind of mumbles stuff out. Oh yeah, and yes, Ithka, and there were she just like murmurs, just things are falling out of her about her adventure while she's just mumbling. She just can't help it. She's gonna admit guilt to everything because bleh, she can't hold it.
While she's guilty mumbling, she feels something like weight on her shoulder, and then like almost something kneading on her, as like a pickle is on her shoulder and like making bickies.
No.
He just does the whole like loud purring right in her ear.
She calms down. Yeah, but Ashburn did kind of burn because of us, but we're not, but my friends did have a house dropped on them, but anyways.
As you're kind of like guilty whispering this as he's sculpting this magic, and he's like, "And a house? Do you reveal the Castigon was the one that you had drop a house on?"
Yeah, and I don't know if you know, but there's someone named Castigon too that's kind of involved in all.
Wait, you know him?
He has my 2 rat friends.
What is he? What did they do?
Okay. One of them, the girl, her name is Summer. She just came back for like, I don't know how many hours. It was kind of a long time, and just like saying like, Castigon wanted salt, the salt and. Oh god, and there's pepper. Oh goodness, there's so much. Anyways,
I don't care about the seasonings. Just tell me what the rat folk did.
No, that's the names of the salt people, the rat people. Anyways, I feel, oh man, I miss salt. He's kind of in my feel like salt right now. Anyways, just everywhere, you know what I mean? But so she was saying that Castigon wanted something about the bodies. I forget the word. Just like not the body, but like the thing that holds something, like a container, but not with the word container. I don't know. He just wanted something with the rat folk.
Okay.
Wait, you forgot about when your friend kicked him in the balls, right?
And there was a friend.
You kicked Estegon in the balls.
Yeah.
I've
oh
seen
God.
him drown people in the river for less.
Well, yeah, that's why you got the. Isn't that why Team and Gideon got the house dropped on him?
And they kind of paid for it with their lives.
He did. Wow. Okay. I didn't think he would be in Ashburn in the first place.
I think he knew we were there. I think there's just a lot. There was a lot. Oh God. And then I had this one friend who was a penguin, but I forgot his name and I feel real bad, but he was really cool too and he gave his life for me. Oh God.
Wait, did you just say the penguin was really cool and you don't remember his name?
Yeah, because I'm a bad friend.
Do you actually not remember his name, Jackie?
Jackie just
Okay, because I
Jackie
need you to
is-
say the penguin is really cool, and then I need you to say I
But
don't
forgot
remember his name again.
Why do I have quoted Rick is sick? What does that even mean?
What?
I don't know. I meant maybe
Who's Rick?
menagerie. Hercules.
Oh, I thought you were
Also in a-
talking
yeah, I
about
was gonna say,
Penguin
I'm in a Goblins
McCool.
and Ghouls game. Man, y'all start without me? It's like you guys didn't even remember my name.
I thought you were talking about Penguin McCool, not Hercules.
Oh no.
I was like,
Hercules.
say Penguin and cool, and then you're basically done.
Oh
Right.
yeah, and Hercules lost his life. People are losing, giving their lives for me, and it's not. I don't like it.
While this quite literal expedition is happening, Dinky's feeding some nuts and things to the squirrel. Ren, what are you doing during this time?
And also the fake king. You left out the fake king was there in Ashburn.
I did not know who the Fey King is. I've not met anybody with that name.
Like the literal like the king of the Feywild. That
I
guy?
thought that the Feywild had a queen.
Apparently not from their
Your-
stories.
centuries behind. We were centuries behind.
Okay.
It's been a long time.
Dinky's
Right.
ears perk up when he hears Faye. But he's
Dinky,
still
go ahead
eating
and roll me a
nuts.
nature check.
Okay, that's something I got some points in. I might be proficient in that. Dinky got a 17.
17. You are familiar with the Feywild and have actually seen a few Fey creatures in the forest before. You talked to them. You know, shared some nuts with them in Charleston before. Just afternoon things. They definitely did speak of a new king, but you didn't care about that at the time.
Okay.
So it seems like even the Fey creatures here in Asterion do know of this. As Marcus says, okay, the spell should be finished, as he kind of touches the silver mirror in front of him. Says, let me peer and take a look at where your friend, well, not the right words, but the one hunting you is. That's...
Sorry. Just imagine Marcus just turning to the corner of the room. He's right there.
No. As he looks into the mirror, he says, those don't look to be Redcliffe streets. He's running with other people in Kern. I don't know what that is. As it's 7:54, how about we take a quick 6-minute break and come right back at 8 p.m. 6 minutes. This will be a very quick one. If you haven't entered the giveaway yet, make sure you do so, as I'll give somebody else another token here pretty soon.
I know why he's running.
As
No.
as
Let's
we will
crash
be
into a-
right back. We have 5 minutes. Make sure everybody's quick. BRB.
Oh yeah.
Everybody would have heard you, Jackie. Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Edgy Bubbles just says, "Whomst said that."
We did hear that. Amazing.
Oh, I'm so. Jackie, you were the one. You and Will were the only two. who, in between starting streams, who gave me hope, but no longer. The raffle has ended.
Nope.
Let's see who wins this token. Jackie. I had such high hopes for you. Raccoon
Nope.
Blast.
Oh shit!
Raccoon Blast.
Raccoon
Congratulations.
Blast! Oh, yeah.
Raccoon!
Raccoon Blast. You have
No, they're
earned
still here.
the ability to give a player a free feat. Whatever
Oh.
player you want.
Raccoon Blast.
Raccoon.
Rac-
Raccoon.
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 Raccoon. I was a
Raccoon.
raccoon for
Raccoon.
an entire stream
Raccoon.
just for you.
I'm
Just
kind
for
of
you, raccoon.
I'm kind of a player. Give me a feat. Let me give Castian
Raccoon, you
another
know
feat.
I love feet.
You know I love feet. Oh well.
I lost my
oh no.
appetite.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh
Oh
no.
no, 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 no.
So many memes already. It was so hard. We were just saying it was so hard to keep a straight face when everybody in chat was saying so many things to Korth. I couldn't even look at chat for a hot minute there. Oh, Drew. Congratulations,
Raccoon.
Raccoon Blast. How long do I have to
Raccoon.
decide? Take your time. Give it to whoever you like, whenever you'd like, Raccoon. You just tell me when you're redeeming it and to which player. And then just do it in chat here to where everybody can see. Right. Let's continue right where we left off. As Marcus says, I see him running down. Those are Kern streets. I recognize that anywhere. He's running with a few people. I don't know. He's in Kern. He didn't go to Redcliffe.
Running. What's happening?
I don't know. He seems almost determined.
Can
Uh,
can you look for one more person?
The more I look, the less I won't be able to send you off today.
We should. Well, let's just go to the Red Wagon. That's where Robert and Celine were, right? And then we have the team together. Then we head on over. I can't imagine anything bad would happen in the meantime while we were here.
Marcus, you can still. And Rin gestures at Rin's face. You can still like change, right?
Yeah, of course. That's and see. He goes, "Who do you think gave you?" And he like flicks his clothes, and suddenly he looks very different. His entire outfit changes. Ren, he gave you that glamored clothes to go with your change, as he suddenly changes outfits entirely to something a little bit more street-worthy and less. I am very obviously a wizard. If you're in the streets, please come mug me. As he gets ready to traverse the streets.
Do you have like
also-
another set of those? Like, because those look pretty comfy.
With enough time, but not now. I don't.
Fair enough.
But we should leave. I cannot teleport us from here. There's magic that prevents me from doing so. Can I suggest that we all be very, very to ourselves? Keep heads down. Let's head right to the door and leave, as we have just taken another person's thing, being Charleston, that was obviously yours, but he may not feel that way.
Should probably, Dinky, you should probably put Charleston in a bag.
I know, buddy. You just went in a bag, but go in my hood. Go in my hood, and he's gonna flip his hood up. and
All
leave
right, if
Charleston
you
for
think
that.
it's for the best, Dinky. Is he?
Take a snack too. Here's some more snacks
Oh,
for the hood.
pecans, my favorite. As he goes to the back and starts nibbling. You can feel like pieces kind of go down the back of your shirt as he like nibbles at them and they break apart. As Marcus says, "Okay, Lyra, are you and Rathomir finished?" I could be. She closes. I think you have everything. I have everything that you need. Here. You can have that book. It's not very ornate, but you can find another one sometime. And then I'll just take
Thank
yours. Are you okay with that?
Yes.
Thank you. She
Thank you, Lyra.
pockets your book of shadow. Of course, I won't breathe a word of what was said here today. I will consider this book of shadow payment of silence for the fact that you did, as she kind of looks to you and kind of points at Dinky, and Marcus says, take a prize from another competitor. I would be very mad if you did that to me, but I will look away this time for the Book of Shadow.
I think it's because you're slowly agreeing to the idea that we might be best friends.
I am not. But now, possibly after your change, more agreeable than before.
Fair enough.
Safe travels, you lot. I have a lot I need to process here. I still am pondering on the thought that I had before. If I send you a message sometime, just expect it. It may take me some time to think it through.
I also can. So if you wish to converse, I mean, it'll tap me. It's powerful magic, but you know, we can converse at least a few times.
Matter of
This
fact,
is a conversation for multiple days. Might as well.
she opens your book. Could you write your name in here? I understand that's how this spell works.
Yeah. If I write it though, would that work for her?
You don't know. She seems to think so. She doesn't know either, maybe.
All right. I sign, and yeah, it says Rothamir Begrim in like very fancy script.
Okay. She closes the book, puts it back in her little pouch. It says, "Great." As she goes to grab the parchment, as Marcus says, "Whoa!" She goes, She kind of waves her hand in front of it, and you can see small bits of yellow energy coat the paper before she, like a new electronic, peels it off and throws it over to Marcus, who kind of just tosses it and throws it off to the side before she opens the door and heads on out, leaving you all with Marcus in his room. She says, "Okay, heads down. We're going to go right to the door, and then we're going to go over to the Red Wagon, and then to my place, and then I will send you on."
Mm-hmm.
Correct?
So, sounds good.
Hey, Zania, do you have any more of those scrolls left?
I got 2.
Might want to use it for this. And Rin's gonna fashion and change back to Cassius, the tiefling.
As now you see two almost very similar tieflings stand next to each other, at least as far as height is concerned. Build and everything else, not all that much. But Ren seems to know a few tieflings, as for some reason Marcus kind of gives you a roll of the eyes before walking out the door, trying to lead you all out of this place.
Before we make it fully out, Ren leans over to Marcus and says, "It's one of the forms the assassin hasn't seen yet."
Well, that's probably smart then. As he begins walking. Dinky, Zania, how are you all following?
Not before I transform into. That's a tiefling. That's a drow. I will transform back to the wife of of Hal back at the gambling den.
As how you kind of turn and look back. You have your memories, but hello, as you keep walking. Dinky, a whole nother person again appears in front of you. Everyone is changing all of the time, Dinky.
Dinky's got a headache.
But not into animals like you normally. You're used to animal changing, but not into different people.
Are you still my friend? Well, who are you?
Friends until death, right, Dinky?
Dinky's gonna take her hand.
Take it.
And they're gonna hold hands while they walk down the hallway.
My heart, my heart.
But
When they walk away,
Dinky never forget. Dinky kill for less.
Dinky don't fuck around.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my god.
I feel like Dinky like just constantly have the idea of like those kids that get those ghillie suits and just like decide to wear them to school. That's Dinky to me.
That's Dinky. And he's always shuffling when he walks too. So he's always just like, you just hear like leaves constantly rustling from him. He's a walking bush.
Whenever like So whenever Zinnia changes, like Hal would always be like, "Yeah, of course, like I'm taking on the role," kind of thing. This time, like Rothamir just does this whole like awkward like, and then just leaves the room.
Has
he cannot
been-
speak to anybody. He does the same thing when Ren changes as well.
It's like, oh, I knew
He
that.
just like
That's-
goes from like usually Hal stands like confidently, like Rothamir just goes, goodbye.
As you all leave, you hear the door kind of close automatically behind you as you hear the stone door. As now you're walking back down the path, you hit the fork in the road. How and Ren, roll me a perception check.
Is it daylight?
You're in a deep part of the world, so there's no sunlight coming in.
Oh, fantastic. Then 21, because I was about to reroll
22.
disadvantage.
You can all hear something faintly in the distance. How you recognize it, but Ren, it sounds odd to you, like somebody needs your help. Someone has been wronged. But how you do recognize it in the distance. Oh, my one chance at happiness. Seeming to come in the distance, far, far away, down a long, long hallway.
Man, it's weird. I'm deaf and I just keep going. Oh.
Dinky can't see him, can he?
No, he's very far away. Definitely still in that other hallway that you would have been in, but he's crying very loudly now.
Oh, so we can hear him now, even though it was just Ren and Hal. That...
So Ren and Hal currently hear him.
Okay.
Yeah, but as you guys are getting back to the main place, Dinky and Zinnia will begin to hear it as well. But right now, Ren and Hal are the only ones.
That vampire just won't shut up. Oh my god.
Ren and Hal
Ding.
are the only...
Oh. No.
Just to see if Ren and Hal say anything. If not, then Dinky and Zinnia will begin to hear.
It appears as though someone else lost a fight in the ring.
I guess it happens.
What? Oh wow! Whoa! That vampire just
Yes,
needs
as
to
now,
shut
yes,
up.
Zinnia and Dinky, you begin to hear.
Ah, yes. You
Dinky
do not hear the
holding-
man crying.
Dinky holding Zinnia's hand as he walks by goes, "See, look, it ain't so hard to get a new babe." Dinky's gonna keep walking.
You guys don't see him, but do you yell that down the hallway?
Yes.
Oh, we're about to have to fight. Dinky. Dinky, why?
Because he's gonna see Dinky with another female. He's gonna be like, "What
The
the?"
guy was in a room, he couldn't see us.
As
Dinky.
you all are walking towards the door, the voice stops, and you don't hear him for a while. You get to the main 30 by 30 room, where there is a spot in the center where you teleported into before. There are people milling about just as they were. Lyra sits on a stool right nearby the chair, or right nearby the table that she was in before, and you hear another familiar voice up at the counter, seeming to be continually ringing a small bell on the front of it, as if annoyed for this delay in service. Koth! He stops and he looks at you all, as you all see Nivek. Marcus, not that you seem to see anything, but have you seen Korthax? I would like to request my winnings. Marcus says, you know, I haven't seen him. No, I went looking for him myself, but haven't seen him, Nivek. Says, well, why don't you go fetch him, as I think you're out of money and nothing left to do. Be a good lad. Go fetch him.
He's actually quite with me, and he is disposed at the moment, so please.
I'm don't think that he is with you. He is quite
He
indebted to
currently
the club.
is, and I would like you to please keep ringing your bell as we continue on our way. Thank you.
What, you're just going to leave then, coward, with debt on your name?
Yes,
As
he
I
sure
should-
is.
How it takes a sheet of paper and with prestidigitation, the ink across it like recreates a second copy of the transcript, basically like receipt saying that his debt is cleared. Here's a copy, just in case you can read. I put it in common just for you, and I just push it into his chest as we leave.
You have a benefactor, as he's like reading the scroll. I never knew you had a benefactor. What do you do with benefacting? As you all.
As he's saying that, I was gonna say I spin on my heels as we're about to teleport out. I prefer the term sugar daddy as we vanish.
Hold on. So you say, I prefer the term sugar daddy, as suddenly, moving very quickly, a man in black robes, long fingers, clutching a cane, seems to be moving at a pace unnatural to his frame, though he is tall with eyes like a shark, begins clacking his cane as he comes toward you. As he says, "You!" as he points to Dinky. He says, "Why would you mock me so during my time of struggle?" And you, as he points to How, having not seen him for the first time since been in here, what are you both doing here? Both of you, meaning such harm to me. You have done me a great disservice.
How now looking different as Rothamir just goes, "Do I know you?"
You do recognize him, so you are.
Oh yeah,
attempting
no,
to
I
find,
do,
right?
but like because
yeah.
Rothamir looks different, he's taller and has like much like different features. He looks like just another drow, so he's just doing, and he's wearing different clothes too, even
Fair
to
enough.
boot.
I will retract. And he goes back
okay.
to Zinnia. Fair enough. Because I forgot about the different clothes. I was like, well, you are wearing the same, but no, you're not actually. So retract. He says, and you. Why would you meet with somebody? Because now Zinnia also looks different. You're so mean to me. Do you not know what this little one has done? He has mocked me for their friends, kicking me from my ancestral home, a temple that I had taken up and begun to restore, and mocked me for my late wife.
Good sir, would this do it for you? And Rin's gonna pull out 3 platinum pieces and hand it over. Will this take care of this issue for you?
Roll me a persuasion, actually 2 separate persuasions, and tell me which one is first, Ren.
First one's gonna be a 14 plus 10, so 24.
Before you tell me the second one, Nevik goes, "Oh my, you really do have a benefactor." As you throw platinum at him.
And then
Yeah,
second,
then the second
one is gonna be a 15 plus 10, so 25.
As you throw the 3 platinum coins and they land at his feet, he says,
I don't know. I would actually hand him to him.
oh, okay. You hand it to him.
I wouldn't be a dick about it.
He doesn't seem to like grasp the coins like somebody who gives you a limp handshake, not wanting to take the stuff from you. He looks at you. This man stands quite tall as he looks at you. A big, long, what only can be described as like ugly features. His face just decrepit and old. See, you grabs his hand to like shake it in, but his hand feels like stone as you do so. As he's, but you must understand me, tiefling. You travel with a monster. That little one there has no heart, no soul, nor does his lioness friend or their drow companion. I do not
Yes,
know if
at
you know of the
times.
two that I speak, but they are evil incarnate.
At times they most definitely can be assholes, but they are with me. And I do apologize for any actions that have inconvenienced you. Now, we must be leaving.
Can I, if you know them then, might I give you this? As he pulls out a small letter.
I will take it.
Thank you. It will allow me to sleep at night. Though I do not know where.
There's no curse in here. Sorry, I'm going on your accent. There's no curse in here.
Ah, you are also from Wallachia.
I'm sorry,
Just
did you
realized the
say
reference there?
I'm sorry, did you say incestuous or ancestral? Because that's just gross.
Ancestral. You think me? Who do you think I am?
I slap
The
him with another
healed works
platinum.
of Ludrus?
Just like seeing immediately she says that, I'm just like, on behalf of all drow.
I'm gonna give you platinum and leave.
I do not want your money. You are friends with devils and horrible things. And
Wait, I
you,
didn't say I was friends with any of them.
he waves his little finger at Dinky and says, be shamed. Okay.
Oh, we were just trying to leave.
This guy's not
Ren
only laughing
screams in
out.
his mind.
What I
Stop only-
need, what I need, because I think this is the perfect time, is Lanta, if you are there, can we, or John, can we please go ahead and do the giveaway?
No, no, no.
Oh no.
I have been nothing but nice to this man, chat. You remember that. You remember that.
Thank you, Streamlabs.
no,
Thank you, Lanta and or
Right
John.
in the chest.
I have been nothing but kind to this man.
If those of you entered it late, I think most people are already on it, but there's still going to be another one. But let's see who the winner of this one is, shall we?
Oh no.
Will's
You
like
can't enter, Will.
giveaway.
If I win, it's gonna be a good time.
It's already closed, you goober.
Yeah, goober.
Pixel's like, you guys cannot simply leave, can you? No, we can't.
Strong Hearth.
Oh no, Streamlabs crashed.
Oh, whoops.
Oh no.
Ah,
Oh,
Aloof as a
oh.
fool.
Oh.
You actually have 2 tokens, but Aloof as a fool. If there were a prime opportunity to do this, now would be a good one. But if you don't want to do it, just let me know and I will. You win the token to give one of the players a curse of your choosing, as long as it's within reason. Come on, let's not be too rude about this. Destroy them. Just do whatever you want. Whatever you want to do about
Players
this.
or NPC?
No, no, no.
Oh, it's only
Players.
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 Oh no! Oh no! I don't like that all caps. Oh no!
I have an
I have
idea,
an idea for a
curse.
curse.
Yes.
Aloof as a fool, please enlighten us. Also, the next giveaway and the last one, obviously, will be to give a player a 2-point increase to 1 stat. So, make sure that you enter for that one. But Aloof as a fool,
we
what
allowed
is
to
your
put
idea
that
for a
one?
curse? And would you like to use it now or save it and I will come up with a curse? We'll let them.
So badly want to hear their curse.
Me
I just I
too.
want to know.
That all caps was just so intriguing.
I am somewhat of a player. That's fine. I am playing many characters. If you want to give it to any of the DM PCs that aren't like random unnamed NPCs. Rarbert, Celine, Flint now, Marcus, all of the good guys. I want to see so badly what their idea for a curse is. And if you don't want to do it now, that's totally fine. You can say that as well. Just no pressure.
I'm so scared for you, Will. I have been nothing but kind to this man.
The suspense is killing me.
This is like in Game of Thrones where they're like, he never picks the one that stares at him. Just look him in the eye and he won't pick you. And they're just like, yeah, that one that's looking me in the eye.
Oh yeah.
Watch Aloof is just like, I have no idea for a curse. Just got up, went to go make a sandwich or something. So
Oh no, oh no.
Came up with, if they are touched skin on skin, not like melee weapons, by a creature, they turn into a rat. To undo it, they need to be touched again by 2 creatures of the same type.
Oh.
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 Yo, that's
Curse of the
fucked
Rat
up.
King. Absolutely. I
That is
love it.
So messed
Oh
up, dude.
no.
Now, this will function
woke
like
up-
all curses in the D&D world, but you're going to have to find out and recognize that you are cursed beforehand. But Aloof as a fool, would you like to use it now and on who?
Yo,
no.
Use it.
Because both
Someone woke
Zania
up
and
rage was
Dinky are
violent.
holding hands right now.
Hey,
Oh!
but you know what? We have a changeling that kind of, it's kind of cheating.
It does
Let's
Kinda
that.
cheating,
I don't
kinda
think
cheating.
that counts. I don't think that
Oh.
counts.
We do know 2 rat folk. Well,
They have to be touched by 2 creatures of the same type. So if Xenia touches you, you need to go find another Leonin to undo the curse.
Oh my god, none of us
No.
overlap. Even if Changeling turns into a Tiefling, they don't count.
Now and on random roll, but guest is excluded. Or DM's choice, give it to me, baby.
Oh.
Wait,
Oh.
Will's not a guest. Don't.
I'm a guest.
He's a full-time member now.
No, I'm a
As of right
guest.
now. Right. So let's leave it to roll. I won't be that odd. Or let's leave it to roll. A 1, it's going to be Xenia. A 2, it's going to be How. A 3, it's going to be Ren. And on 4, it's going to be my choice.
Okay.
Since they said that was an option.
Oh no!
Wait, but what? If I may, he doesn't recognize me though because I changed physically. Would he curse me?
I guess he would, huh?
Oh god, I hate this.
As, let me go ahead and pull up in my dice cam so that there is all transparency
Yeah.
here.
Oh
Let's
no! Oh no! No! Oh no!
That is, it's hard to pull up a D4 without looking like I changed it. That's a 4.
That's you?
That's
Oh
me.
no!
No, he gets to pick.
Ah! Ah!
And, might I add, the 2 people who knew this happened have been quite rude to this innocent old man. So, Ren, you're safe. But let me recall a few things before I make my decision. As how you just said, I'm deaf, before walking on, leaving this old man's
Oh,
cries.
but he didn't hear me.
Oh,
I
no, no,
didn't
no.
go for it.
But I did, and it's my choice now.
That's fair.
I don't have popcorn, but I have Pringles.
Right, but what do you mean that my like decisions have consequences? What are you talking about? Like my actions have consequences? I have no idea.
I don't know
What do you mean?
As Xenia, you pushed him over at the temple when you were trying to run and leave. And both of you screamed out, which caused him to lose the picture of his wife. As he looks up at you, and he begins speaking in what language does everybody speak here? Who speaks Abyssal? Nobody. Fantastic. A jumbling of deep, dark words of the old speech comes out from him as but a jumbling of deep, dark words. It still has an accent to him. He can't stop it. He reaches out. Luckily, he does not recognize either of you because Xenia is currently being different. He doesn't recognize How either. So he puts his hand between you and kind of waves it as he's doing the spell. And it kind of bounces back and forth and adds tension to the scene. As he places his hand on your shoulder, Xenia. As you are currently closest to Dinky, he's hoping the curse will affect both of you, but it doesn't. Xenia, you don't know many abyssal words, but you do hear the abyssal word for rat. As he looks at you all and says, I hope that fate is more fortunate for you than you have allowed fate to be for me.
Are you sure you don't want my platinum?
I do not need platinum from those who side with devils. And before he turns in a huff and leaves, Nivek looks at you all and says, wow, I don't even want to let you know what he said.
That's fine. We don't want to hear it from you either. So please, like I said, we have places to be.
Marcus just says, get in the circle, get in the circle. Zinnia,
Aren't I holding hands with Dinky?
you are currently holding hands with Dinky. Yes.
Okay.
Cool.
Nothing's happening? Nothing.
Nothing's happening. Why would you
Okay.
expect something to happen, Zinnia?
You know what? Why?
Oh, how the turntables.
As Marcus says, get in the circle. Come here, just get here. As do all of you go into the circle?
Mm-hmm.
Great.
Jakey never lets go.
Never would. As you all suddenly vanish, Marcus seems to conjure up some spell that you're unaware of. You find yourself a flash of bright, brilliant white light standing outside the cellar door. You hear the click of the handles that you turned once to enter and look out at the bright daylight, as you've been here for quite some time now. It is probably midday at this point. Because when it rains, it pours, you all hear screams and look to the north and see droves of people running away from the center of town. Something must be going on there.
Do you think the TD may have done something? I thought they usually did stuff at night.
And they don't typically cause such a commotion. They're very underhanded. Well, we have to go that way. Maybe we'll see what it is, but
yeah,
just keep everybody's guards about them.
Yes, quite. Onward we go.
I hold on, Dinky. I hold on to Dinky tighter, just so I don't lose him.
Don't want to lose a little guy, for sure. As Marcus begins walking through the crowd and leading you all towards the center of town. He's got kind of a hurried walk to him as y'all are wanting to get to the Red Wagon Inn. It's kind of a fast-paced walk as people are rushing by. I need everybody to roll me a perception check as people are running.
Been rolling hot tonight on perception. Let's see if it continues.
It's daylight.
It is.
Nice. I rolled the nat 20, but it's actually a 3. So 6.
Go,
25.
25. 3 or
14.
6. 14, 25. Dinky?
Dinky rolled a stinky. That was a 12.
Dinky rolled a stinky. I want that to be a saying in chat. Dinky rolled a stinky.
Wait, I'm bad at math. 23, not 25.
Oh, well, that makes a bit... No, I'm just kidding. So what did you get, Zania? It was 17?
No, 14.
14. Okay, actually, then it's just Ren. As everyone else is focused on moving quickly and not being seen, Ren, you're 100% incognito. You don't have to focus on that. You just are running. And you begin to hear a few words as people run by. One that kind of continuously comes up is dragon.
Oh, shit. Oh, shit.
What?
Can I stop one of these people running?
Yeah, you could try.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and stop one. Excuse me.
A female human runs up and is stopped. She just fright on her eyes. She, what are you doing? We must go.
What is it that you're running from?
There's a dragon in the center of town. Didn't you see?
No, what kind of dragon?
Big, great, green one with gold belly.
I let her go, and my hand's still up where it would have been on her shoulder.
She ducks and runs on by to the south.
Hey, Marcus, do you remember you saw of Ithaca? She kind of sounds like that description, right?
Sorry, I'm just the immediate, like, Zinnia's easy, like, I'm incognito. I'm big warrior, but I will do this incognito shit if I have to. As Marcus, she goes, that sound, I haven't seen Ithaca since the descriptor. I didn't know that. Does she have a golden underbelly now?
She did, right? Jackie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's bad. We should leave then.
Robert, Celine, they're that way. We have to go.
If they're in the center of town and Ithaca is there, they must be gone. We need to leave now.
No, we have to get them.
Fine.
You owe us at least this. Help us.
Fine.
Never abandon friends.
I will. Go ahead and roll me a persuasion, Dinky and Ren.
May I cast sending?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
All right, I'm gonna cast sending to Celine.
Mm-hmm.
And then, how far are we from the Wagon Inn?
If you're gonna run, you're maybe about an hour.
Okay. Was there like a good halfway point for them to meet us at that I could let them know, describe them?
You're on the south side of town. You could ask for one if you're going to communicate to the rest of the party what your plan is.
Hey Ren, hey Ren, Marcus, what's a good halfway point from like the Red Wagon Inn to here?
It says, just by the time we'd make the southern road, we can meet them somewhere along there.
The Southern Road,
Yeah, the main road to the south.
the main road. Okay, got it. Just give me 1 second, thank you. Check the thing out. Um, uh, hey, Celine, it's Zania. Meet us at the Southern or Main Road, as it's known. As soon as possible. Are you okay?
Okay. You hear, I've heard a lot of commotion outside. I think there's something going on downstairs from the inn. I'll make my way as fast as I can.
So they're inside and they say there's commotion, but they're okay. But they're gonna try to get there as soon as they can.
As Ren, what were your and Dinky's roles?
Aurora Anima blessed me with this beautiful dice with an absolutely gorgeous nat 20, so that is a 30.
Okay. Dinky.
The Dinkster rolled a nice 19.
Either of you would have been able to convince him, as he still has some guilt for everything and paying off his $50,000.
Look here.
I won't. If we're trying to get out quick, I won't be able to get to my place. That's fine. I can come back. If you're wanting to go today, I can get us to the Red Wagon Inn as soon as possible, and then we can just leave.
All that matters is friends come first. We have to help them.
Fine.
They kept me alive, Marcus. They kept me alive.
Give me 2 seconds. Marcus may as well be also saying, give me 2 seconds, as he pulls out his book and starts looking at things, because he wants to double check something.
Oh my gosh, my feet are killing me. I don't know how you drows do it with these like small feet. Paws are so much better.
So nerve-wracking knowing what's going on.
Okay. As let me double check one more time. Yes, as Marcus kind of pulls out from underneath his tooth, he has a small bit of runic chalk that he keeps there. Actually, everybody is magical here. Everybody roll me an Arcana check.
Arcana. I'm gonna roll
Yeah.
a foil and trouble d20.
Also,
okay.
Verity does
Ooh.
deserve more than inspo. Just I don't know what else I can do, but a shout out for Verity being awesome for writing up all the recap that you all saw down there for everybody to know what's going on in chat. Verity rocks. What did everybody get?
12.
12.
So a natural 1 minus 1.
Oh, cool.
Is
Yeah.
0.
He pulls out his gum. Rathmir and Dinky?
Dinky rolled a stinky. He got a 10.
Dinky rolled a stink.
26.
26.
Thank you for having a good roll.
19 plus 7, baby.
As all of you see this chalk, it seems to be almost blue instead of typical white chalk with some gems inlaid in it. Now, you know this to be rune chalk. This is the fastest way that you can do spells that require a longer period of time, that have a enhanced casting time. You don't need to go over it multiple times. You don't need to write it. It is quick. It's like writing on water or in sand with your finger. He smoothly, quickly writes this out. You can see he's running out of this before he kind of tucks it back into his gum for kind of safekeeping. This appears to be rare stuff. As he makes a circle on the ground that suddenly, as soon as he completes it, Bixel writing in water. Yes, it's as smooth as writing in water, though with your finger, just like moving it around. You get what I'm saying.
We got you.
You get me. As suddenly a quick blue light appears as he grabs a almost a coin out from the center that he holds onto. As he says, "Everybody, then, they're running from a dragon in town. I will do this again quickly so that we can leave. Let's get your friends and go. Be ready."
as we'll ever be.
All right.
Okay. So he throws the coin onto the ground. A sudden blue portal appears in front of you all. It is a round circle as Marcus quickly dashes through it. And on the other side, you all see. Do you all dash through? This is a quick thing to do. Okay, just making sure. You all go through. You see on the other side, which now becomes your reality, as you see the portal vanish from behind you. And in front, you see the Red Wagon Inn standing there. You also see, smell, hear, and feel the fear and destruction around you. For those of you who missed the 24-hour stream, this is your incentive to have gone. But we're also going to be doing some more Red Wagon Inn canon one-shots that will happen on Wednesday nights over on my Twitch channel. Go check that out, twitch.tv/Rybonator. Right. As this is one of the canon ones that happened. You see several of the stone buildings burning as acid eats through them. The very wood planks of the floor are falling into the ocean below. Some of the water in the fountain is just steaming up as it touches the acid that has been spewed out by the great emerald plague, Ithka. You all look up and see Ithka flying about the city, doing nothing but causing mayhem and destruction on the buildings. Several of the ones in the distance you can see falling, some 50, 100 stories high. Who knows how many lives lost in these attacks. Before, you hear a loud, almost a sudden jet of magic as something appears from outside the inn before quickly flying off and away. Everybody roll me a perception.
At disadvantage, keep getting so good, and then it's just garbage. Go from a 17 to a 5, so 8 total.
Dirty 20.
13.
I too got a 13.
Okay. I was answering people in chat because somebody asked, are these going to happen every Wednesday? No, I will let people know when canon Red Wagon Inn one-shots are going to happen, but they'll be pretty often, actually, because it's all going to be stuff in my world, so it's all going to be pretty canon. So, Ren, as y'all are approaching the inn, and some of you kind of stopping in awe at the destruction of the dragon, the entire center of this area has been cleared out of people, though many, many bodies remain. The Red Wagon Inn still stands without much destruction having happened to it, but you see a green kobold appear from magic and begin flying off into the city. You have no reason to believe this is a bad person, but you see them appear outside the inn before running off.
I would definitely think they were a much better person if they were riding on a Pegasus or something. But,
Well, you know, now they just have to do magic.
I'm pushing that away, and I'm just running towards the Red Wagon Inn. Because that's where I know Robert and Celine to be.
Also, other people are asking, the full stream will be on the YouTube channel. I've been trying to upload it, but it becomes like a 500 gigabyte file after editing it together in Premiere.
Yeesh.
So yeah, so give me a few days because I'm trying to get all that done. I had to pause it so that we could do Red Wagon Inn tonight. So it will be up there for those who want to check it out and learn about what we're talking about, because that stream with these folks here was absolutely amazing. It was so much fun.
For a 4 a.m. stream, it was amazing.
Right.
Like
It was the best time of my life.
Yeah.
As were the Salt and Summer one shot that we did, and Will was there for the other one, where we had essentially the Hangover D&D edition, which was
amazing.
It was a lot of
That's what
fun.
it felt like too.
What does Ithka dream of when she takes a little Ithka snooze?
So, you see this inn before you, one of the few structures that has miraculously had no damage done to it yet. That's where you know your friends to be. What's everybody doing?
I'm running straight to it.
Yeah.
Okay. As you all rush in the door, Rin, you're kind of glad to see this a little bit. As you see the satyr that gave you so much trouble, wiping blood off of his face from behind the counter there. As you turn to the side, however, you see Robert having pulled up Ithka's axe out of the body of a great giant green dragonborn. Flint and Celine sit there exhausted. Flint with huge gouge marks across his chest. Celine kind of just clutching her head after having spent so much just magical energy here. Robert.
You're
Friends,
alive.
what's happening out there?
Ithka attacked.
Celine says, I honestly thought you all must have been just deceiving for a while, but these green kobolds came in and tried to assault the inn. Flint nearly died. Flint says, but it's not a problem, though. Don't worry about it. She said, but are you all okay? Where have you been?
Ren points back at Marcus. Marcus.
Hi. This is a lot of people. Give me a moment and I can get us out of here if that's what you want.
Sure.
Before, as he says that, I need everybody to roll me a dexterity save.
Uh-oh.
Fair enough.
Uh-oh. Blood dice.
Rybo, have you been over an hour since Disguise Self, the scroll was used?
No, because
Alright.
you all teleported very quickly.
Okay.
Is this a spell incoming by chance?
It is not.
Oh.
Well,
14.
12.
Well.
Uh-oh.
SpaghettiOs?
Slowly locking up the dice that have been rolling bad on me.
also, can we loot the corpse of that handsome kobold?
No need. What
The
would you ever
headless
need
one.
to loot it for?
Because he has a ring I want.
Hmm.
He has 2 of them I want.
Mm-hmm.
If only you knew.
Rybo, please. I'll give up my inspo.
That's not even worth it.
15.
15 from Ren. What'd you get, Hal?
6.
Okay, everybody falls as you all suddenly feel the ground beneath you give way. As the building begins to shake and crumble, half of the floor in the inn splinters and destroys itself as wood begins flying upward. Who got below a 10? How the hole that's created in the bottom of the inn and now a whole side of the inn blown out and destroyed, you begin falling downward into the drink. Since everybody else fell, there's nobody who can make a save to catch you, but nobody else is falling besides Hal.
Okay.
Okay, yep, sounds good.
It's just how falling?
Just Hal falling into the drink below. While now, as he's falling, all this kind of happens at the same time. The entire, what would be southern half of the building, since it sits on the north side of the inn, falls with Hal and opens up to where you can see Ithka, the Emerald Plague, has fallen from the sky and lays dead in the fountain.
I would love to do something if I can.
Absolutely.
I'm going to jump after our good boy How as I'm yelling, "Bro!" And I'm going to jump in and try and catch up. Like, I'll actively, like, pull my arms and legs together to speed myself up if I need to.
Roll in acrobatics.
It's a +1. It's a 16.
16. As you, quickly, you just pull yourself off the ledge and begin diving down towards How. You barely reach him. There's maybe about 50 feet before you hit the drink below. And it's coming quick.
Dimension door.
It's kind of what I
And
figured.
back up to the top.
Do you go into the building or where are you going?
I'm going to go where I was last standing on stable ground.
Okay. As you poof back up, suddenly Ren and Hal are near Dinky, Zania, Robert, Celine, Marcus, and Flint as you all sit inside the inn. The satyr sits back as the inn seems to almost be leaning now. Where Ithka fell created great ripples and waves of wood with her immense weight landing on the platform that is Kern. Everybody roll me a perception check.
How far is her body? Rebel?
She's in the center of this thing. That's the whole like center of town is maybe about half a mile. So she's about a quarter mile away. So
Uh,
1,200, 1,500 feet.
gosh, a 13, and then I want to say something.
13, 5 from Dink.
17.
Ren,
It's
how?
another dice locked away.
18.
17.
17.
Ooh,
17 and 18. Ren and How, there's somebody standing on Ithka's chest. You can't make out who it is at this distance. There's water spraying and falling from the sky as she landed in the fountain as a great rain falls.
You guys, I need to get the spear. If anyone else gets it, it can be get in the wrong hands. I have to go now.
I'll follow after Zania.
Quick. While Zania starts to run, Hal's gonna open up his spell book, and he's gonna produce a small piece of wheat from in between his fingers. And as he twists it, it turns into a bulbous cocoon-like croissant that starts to explode and burst. And as it explodes, these tendrils wrap around Hal, and a giant Quetzalcoatlus comes out of this massive pterodactyl. So I cast polymorph on myself, and I grab Zania, and I'm flying towards it.
Okay.
I have 80 feet movement speed, so 160 dash as we're zooming through the air.
Dinky and Ren, what are you two doing?
Croissant.
A croissant.
Dinky's mind is blown.
I just turned
He's
into a
never seen you.
Quetzalcoatlus.
By the way,
Never
if you
seen a
haven't
Confrontaquatlus.
seen the Carl version of Redbone on YouTube, that shit don't feel right. It's so good, dude.
Chocolate candy.
Dinky and Ren,
Marcus.
what are the two of you doing?
Marcus, Dinky, come on, let's go. And looking back at Celine and Robert and Flint, saying, "You guys stay here, rest."
There is a large hole, about 20 feet wide, that you're going to have to figure out a way to get across to get onto the platform in the center.
Oh, I just realized this creature is huge size, so I actually take I can't take the whole party, but I'm gonna take every like the 3 other players because I'm huge size and I have a 15 strength, so I could carry all of them.
I would let
I'm
you
gonna-
roll a strength check
Okay.
on that, see if you can carry them all.
Not bad. I'm just gonna check if they have a bonus. Just +2, so 18 total.
Okay.
16 + 2.
Dinky's light enough. Ren also, and Zania is currently a drow. Dinky basically is nothing. So yeah, you're able to pick all 3 of them up. As Ren,
Yeah,
you're
I
like,
have-
Marcus, Dinky, let's go!
Yeah, I was gonna say I have like Zania and Dinky in my talons because so they can like kind of deploy on the ground, and I'm gonna have why is your name escaping me for some reason? Ren. Ren is on my back, just like grab with the beak and just like toss up on the back, and then yeah, he's flying. He's just this massive, like when he spreads his wings, because Quetzalcoatlus or Quetzalcoatlus, they look super cool. It's just this like this version of it though is like has those like purple spirals and designs all over it, similar to How. And when its wings spread, it has like iridescent, like opalescent, like wings that just shine in the light and just flies.
Beautiful.
And it's
Another
zooming.
As you pick all of them up, it takes you a bit of time just to grab them, throw them on your back, get kind of up and going, and you're a huge creature getting out of this building here. It takes you, 10, 20 seconds to do so. As you get up in the air and begin flying that way, as the importance of this is mentioned, Ithka's giant, ancient dragon body shrinks and disappears, and now you see only 2 figures in the fountain, one of them beneath the water and one standing atop.
Boom.
You dash to get there as quickly as possible. Oh, thank you. Hold on. Thanks, King. As How picks up Dinky. You need 2 pterodactyls to undo this, by the way.
Wait, did you say 2 of the same kind that like hits the curse?
Uh-huh.
Wait, is it Dinky or Zinnia?
Oh, it's Zinnia. Sorry. I was thinking Dinky for some
Oh,
reason in my head.
no.
Yeah. As you grab Zinnia then. Sorry. A lot happened with that curse that I was not expecting and I loved. You're going to need 2 pterodactyls, but your characters don't know that yet. As you grab Zinnia, you suddenly feel her shrink in your hand. You feel that you crushed her before you look down, and suddenly there is a rat in your talon.
I guess I keep flying. What? Okay. Well,
Wait, just for Jackie's sake, so do I still like have Zinnia's memories? Like, am I, or do I just turn into a rat?
You're a
completely?
rat. You control yourself. You are as if somebody polymorphed you, is what we're going to say.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. All right.
You
all
can
right, all right.
control yourself. Go ahead and look up the stat block of a rat. You may need it for a while.
Perfect timing.
oh.
Perfect
Wait,
timing.
but what if Zinnia dies as a rat?
Guess we'll see, won't
We
we?
don't know.
Oh God.
Rybo, how many rat bites does it take to kill a rat?
I think one.
No.
So don't ever accidentally nibble on yourself. As you all fly upward and over, I need everybody to roll me a perception check again. Zinnia, you should go ahead and look up your new stats for this.
God.
Okay, 22.
15.
22,
As
15.
the Quetzalcoatl, because I don't have sunlight sensitivity when I'm this dumbass bird.
17.
17. Rat.
19.
It's nice to have a rat folk back in the party, isn't it, guys? I mean, it's kind of cool.
Sort of.
Isn't it, love?
All of you can see now
Isn't it love?
a man looks to be clad in red leans over and grabs
no.
a spear from the fountain.
Oh no.
Before you begin to see a recognizable tail and scales.
Oh,
Zinnia, you know who this is, but all of you seem to just see a lizard folk. This has been described enough for where you might be able to make this out. But Kinak stands atop the corpse of Ithka, and he rends a spear from her corpse.
You know what? Maybe it's good that I'm a rat because he doesn't know he does recognize me. You know? So.
He holds it up, and you can see a huge sight. Are you still flying that direction, Hal?
How doesn't know who that is, so I just fly, and I'm gonna like kind of land over. But like the second we're there, I'm going to drop the polymorph. Like drop everyone, put the polymorph up, and just put like hands out, and because I don't know this is Kinak, so I'm just gonna say, hey, we don't mean any harm or anything, but that spear we need. Be a good guy, please, for the love of God.
As Hal lands in the water, are you polymorph back, correct?
Oh yeah, I basically I put everyone down, and then Hal polymorph the scales of the creature descend, and Hal
Zinnia.
walks forward as Hal.
Roll me a athletics check as a rat you attempt to swim in this water. Because it's only knee high for everybody else.
Can I roll a perception check for someone who's with me who would be good at finding rats?
So that's a 10, right? But then rats just happen to have a -4 in strength. So
It's okay. Rats are also very tiny. They're good swimmers. You only needed a 5. But, you know, wanted to see if you would happen to start drowning.
all right.
So I would pay attention to what Verity is saying in chat. But as Dinky, you stand, it's, you know, up a little bit above your chest at this point. Ren, you stand, you know, just to your knee. Hal, you stand above the water. Sudden rat swims nearby. Ren and Dinky, both of you notice that Zinnia has disappeared, and now there's just a rat in this water.
Dinky's gonna notice this distressed animal and is gonna grab it and pick it up
Yeah,
And-
that checks for Dinky too.
and put it on his shoulder. Now Charleston has a rat friend.
Oh, I see. This seems like a stray to be picking up, but all right. We'll help her out.
I second on what I second on what Hal is saying by looking at this lizard folk person saying, yeah, we got to get it back to a guy named Kinak.
He looks over to you and walks up to the group. Zinnia, as a rat, you've seen him stand before. You've only ever seen him stand angry. Now he stands confident and strong like he did atop his palace back in the Scorch. As he walks over to the four of you, says, he kind of holds his spear down and says, I, Kinak.
Oh, perfect.
Oh. Oh, okay, this kind of solved itself then. Do you mind telling Spade to stop hunting our friend? Because we've been working our butt off to get that spear back for you.
You are friends with the lioness? The
Yes.
unwilling dragonborn?
We never.
He looks down
we-
and sees the rat, but doesn't make a connection.
The rats are, I guess, they come and go. I don't know if we have a connection with them necessarily. The Dragonborn I hadn't met, he's deceased prior to us coming in contact, but the
Whole
lioness
house.
is a
Owen.
very good friend of ours. And look, I don't want if she has a debt, look, you're here now. We have been chasing that, and we have been trying to find a way to make amends. Yes, we have led Spade on a wild goose chase, and I'm sure you are very mad. But whatever our friend did in the past, she has gone through hell and back. She has had so many friends die. She has lost a lot. And her goal has been to find some way of atoning with you, and I don't even know who you are. Please. Look, you've got your spear. If you need money, we don't have much, but we'll pay you. And if it's not for the rats, it's the rats or whatever, whoever else, the bone lizard you described. If that's something we can't pay for, just for her. She doesn't need to keep running. We have scrolls. I've spent a bunch of money on scrolls so she can go out in public. You seem like a reasonable person. Be reasonable.
I do want to pause. One, to ask, find out what Will's question is, as well as, you seem like a reasonable person. The only thing you've seen of him do is take
Yeah.
Ithka out of the sky. But,
Oh yeah, no.
yeah.
I was saying that as like this guy is just approaching was like matter of fact. How doesn't know anything?
Oh, yeah.
But how isn't necessarily diplomatic? But how is Jakey's not as good at role playing this, but the big difference between I guess How and Rothamir is Rothamir is speaking like diplomatically as someone who actually has not a rat brain, while How was like chaotic and more like
For
yeah,
sure.
you just like me. But Rothamir, yeah, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Mm.
Dinky, what is your question?
Dinky's question was, while this conversation was going on, and Dinky would be concerned about this rat animal, Dinky wanted to cast Speak with Animals
Mhm.
Oh no.
to
I
the
was
rat.
waiting for that to happen.
Amazing.
Stinky, you hold it up, kind of like a new puppy that you just hold under the arms. That you're like, oh, Zinnia is kind of squirming, very trying to get away from Kinak, as you just quickly, just kind of like slap your ear a few times, and you put some water up to your ear. And kinda,
Squeak,
Squeak,
squeakers.
squeak, and squeakers. Squeak.
you hear
What's-
Dinky begin to squeak towards Zinnia. Not kissy noises, but squeak.
No.
No, continue. Yeah.
It's me. It's me. But don't say it's me. Kinak is gonna kill me, and I feel really, really weak. I feel so weak. I'm not used to how weak I feel. But it's me. Don't drop me, please. Don't drop me. I swear to God, I'm gonna die if you drop me. Please don't drop me. But it's me.
It's okay. So Dinky won't drop you. What? Are you, is this another one of your transfer Twix? Are you? You?
I don't know.
You're like a druid.
The winged axolotl. That's not the name. The pterodactyl looking. I don't know what a pterodactyl is. So the winged thing that How/Rothamir transferred to touch me, and then I turn into a rat. So I'm like,
I have no clue what's going on, but I won't drop you. Hang out with Charleston and be safe here. And then,
Get in the bag.
Get in the bag.
Zinnia, take a point of inspo if you don't have one.
So good.
as you throw Zinnia, both Charleston and Zinnia kind of is stuck in your hood now as you stand looking up at Kinak. Very much that meme of like the really short guy looking up at the lady.
So now I have
Yeah.
an angel and a devil on my shoulder.
Which one's the
Angel and
angel?
your devil.
At this point,
Um,
my 6
let's-
GFYs.
I mean, I'll flip a token, but
What do you mean? Of course I'm the angel. I mean
for the
nothing
wild
but
temptress.
I'll say it.
As
Sin, my boy, sin.
Give in to your temptation.
whatever it takes, steal the nuts
Do
from
it,
the bar. As Hal, roll me a persuasion.
Whoo, boy.
Woo,
I-
baby! That's what I've been talking
Woo,
about.
I'm a roll
I
my inspiration.
Can I give him advantage as
Yeah,
I
how are
was
you
also
gonna-
talking with
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah,
Okay, I'll take inspiration
and
for
also
your
by
advantage.
saying just like it's really true what he said. I've been with them since Ashburn, and that's their sole goal of what she's been doing is trying to get this right. I mean, we met her right after the, as you said, bone lizard died. A house fell on him. Weird. You don't need to know that. Yeah, that's. Mm-hmm.
So, I do have to pause for a bit of clarification. Have Ren and Hao actually been operating in the under the circumstances that they need to get the spear back for Kinak? Because the group's main idea had been to get the spear away from Ithka. So, this could turn into a deception roll instead of a persuasion.
Under Rothamir's understanding of like all the events, it has been find a solution that makes either Kinak happy or leave us alone. Ithka hasn't really been in the equation for him, so I don't think it's much as deception as it's just like if Kinak gets the spear, amazing. If we pay off Kinak to leave us alone, if we find an alternative, it's basically like Rothamir has seen the past like I guess like a week and some they've been traveling as solely as like Kinak is on us. We want to settle this debt with Kinak, and we don't need to be friends by the end of it. Just like break this connection of Kinak and Zinnia because then Nia's free.
Persuasion works then. Okay. So yeah, you're at advantage as Ren helps you out.
Okay. So I have 0 bonus.
Oh no.
I rolled a 19. Because I got a 8 on the first one and then a 19, and I kind of want to use insult to shoot for the 20, but I'm also like, I don't know. I know Ren should have done this, but I'm gonna stick with the 19 in case I beef it. But yeah, 19. No
Okay.
bonus.
As Kinak seems to almost breathe in for the first time in a long time. He looks down at you before kind of hopping off this small little pedestal of Itha's body. He leaves it just to drown in the water, but now that he's not standing on it, she kind of floats. Her head does. She's still wearing the heavy plate of her, Goliath form, but her head kind of begins to float, just the top of it underneath the water. So he hops off it and walks towards you all and says, I think and he looks at his spear and says, can be at an understanding. Why don't you all find your friend and meet me where we can discuss what has happened with level heads and what has been taken from us, rightfully returned.
Before I shake, can I insight?
Yeah, absolutely.
Just in case.
And as he's doing that, I mean, like, and truth be told, I mean, think of all the praises that are going to be sung to you. You took down Ithka, like, who destroyed many a town and things. Like, you, look at you.
Also, I should have rolled inspo on that because that's a nat 20 for insight.
Hey, Hal.
GFY.
GFY.
Fair enough. I mean, still not
used my
terrible. I have no
info.
bonus on these. Still not terrible. 14 this time.
14. You've never met him, so you don't have that
Mhm.
much to go on. He seems to be happy that he's got the spear back. Priority
Okay.
number 1 for him.
I'm gonna offer my hand out for a handshake then.
He grasps your hand, shakes it. You've never once before felt a handshake that just feels so... He's muscular, but not like a Goliath where it's just overpowering muscle. Just dense. Each of his fingers feel like they could kill you at a moment's notice.
Cool.
Before he shakes your hand. As he looks to you, Ren, and says, "They will sing my praises. I will await you here at the fountain. Bring the lioness and your friends for us to discuss."
Will do.
Ren looks back and is like, speaking of which, where did you go?
Thank you, Kinak. I know this is a weird way of us first meeting, but I appreciate it.
He turns and looks back at the body and pulls out a knife really quickly and says, "Be quick," before going over to the head. And you cannot see what happens underwater, but he begins making a sawing motion.
Cool.
Yeah.
Bet
Let's
that's
go
going on a
back.
pike.
Let's go back to the inn. I must have dropped Zinnia on the way. Sorry, guys. I was in such a rush. I thought we could. But yeah. Let's
Yeah.
head back.
Yeah, let's walk back and look for Zinnia.
Okay,
I
Dinky, you
insight
already
on
have
that?
an inspo, but I'll give you one. Yeah, absolutely. Ren could
Just
definitely
look
insight.
at Dinky and I'm like,
Why do you have to?
That's a 19 plus 10. That's a 29.
You have a
plus 10
plus
for
10 to
insight?
insight?
Yeah, I got double proficiency and with
dang.
the Untamed Love.
That's right,
sorcerer,
Untamed Love,
that's-
yeah.
oh, whoa.
That's right.
Bella.
Something's up.
I'm going to escort Dinky, and while we're walking away, say, "What did you do?"
I didn't do anything. And then I'm gonna like pull
Where's
my hood to
Zinnia?
the side and I'm gonna like point to Zinnia.
This
It's a
small little
yes,
rat.
Dinky. Yeah, that's a rat, Dinky.
It's Zinnia.
Oh fuck!
I don't know what happened. But she's cursing a lot. Freaking out.
Okay.
I'm just gonna burn one to see if I cast a spell magic. Does anything happen on her?
You look at the rat before. It's not a magical effect affecting her. You don't know what's going on here.
Okay.
Roll me an Arcana.
That Arcana is so good. Oh man, it's so nice to be smart for once in my life. That is a 24.
24. As you coat her in magic, if this is not a magical effect, it's either innate to something Zinnia can do that you don't know about, or some other nefarious type of magic is on her.
This was either Zinnia could just turn into a rat this whole time and she'll turn back soon, or she is cursed.
I spoke
The-
with her, and she said that
Oh.
the stinky old man, when he touched her, something funky happened. I don't know, but I asked her if she could do this too, like me, but she said no.
She is. Oh wait, I think Celine might be able to remove curses.
I sure hope so, because the
I
only
know.
person in our party that can is currently a rat.
Oh, I definitely know what it's like to be cursed and have cursed remove on self. Anyway, as we're all walking and talking about this to the Red Wagon Inn, so we've got to figure that out. We gather everyone together, and then I guess we're bartering with a guy with a sun spear.
As
He gets
you say that question, you suddenly hear a loud and feel your feet kind of tremble once more as you look back. With her head now removed, she reverts back to her original form as Kinak holds up by the horns the large head of Ithka and throws it over his shoulders as if to carry it like a backpack, and his spear kind of underneath the horns for stability as he begins walking towards the end. The fountain.
Ro. Can I call you Ro? By the way, is that all right?
Yeah, I remember my mom used to call me B because of our last name. So
Even better, B. Love it.
Yeah.
What's funny is from what they've said about Kinak and wanting to go like to, the celestial plane and become a god and all that, and learning, how Ithka, destroyed. I'm sure that guy's gonna go to good places. It's just he's gonna go be a god. Look at him go.
Yeah. Huh. I mean, he's got the confidence for it. I don't even mean that in a bad way. It's just he carries himself. That's
Yeah.
Also, thank you for catching me.
As you all exit the side of the fountain, many of the wood have splintered and gone away, but you can still make your way to the inn, as it looks like Marcus and Celine are tending to Robert and Flint. The satyr is there. There's a few other people that have come down from the upstairs that were bedding or just sleeping for the time, who have gotten a very rude wake-up call. As they've come downwards, there are two dwarvish men with kind of these stocky, almost stone pauldrons and leather straps kind of holding them down, as they're helping everybody out. There's that like 20-foot gap between you and the rest of the inn. As Robert says, "Well, what's happening?"
Yeah, Kinak's here.
Kinak killed Ithka.
How are we feeling about that?
Good, I think.
So,
Does he have the spear?
Yeah. And
he...
I'm gonna walk around the inn so we can go to a part where everyone can kind of talk in some semblance.
So, yeah, we're about to go to the fountain to basically barter with Kinak and decide what the next steps are, whether or not everyone's forgiven. Before we do that, Celine, and I kind of call it to anyone in the bar, anyone know anything about removing curses?
As you go to the back door of the inn and head on inwards, as the satyr still kind of sits there, as the satyr sits there, the rest of the group and the dwarves have gone over to the bar, but your group sits at one of the tables that still stands. As did Bobo get an inspo? I'm not.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's Drew's characters went from
them to they them
to they them, and I love it.
That's a good one.
Very clever.
Very good, very good. As you rejoin your group that's here at the table, Robert kind of looks and says, "But if he has the spear, is that? Are we forgiven?"
Well, I
don't know.
I think that's why he wants us to meet him at the fountain with Zinnia.
Did he take her? Where is she?
She's a rat.
I don't even miss a beat on it.
She betrayed the party. She wouldn't do that. Zinnia is loyal to a T.
You know the hedgehog meme where it's like they squeeze the hedgehog and hold him out and it's like friend. Hal reaches into his hood and pulls out friend.
No, she's literally a rat.
Dinky, do you
That's why we
let
need a
Hal
curse.
take your new rat friend?
No.
As you go to reach it, Dinky kind of turns to the side and says, "Wait,
Dinky, what the hell? Just show the rat."
Just don't be so handsy. Here. I'm gently holding Zinnia.
As Celine rushes over and says, "Oh my god." She reaches to grab the rat. "May I?" Or she
Careful.
holds it up. she holds in her hand, she does a bit of thaumaturgy and makes a bit of static and kind of sparks. Not trying to hurt you at all, but just trying to see if you respond to them.
Zap
Fried rice.
I
We don't have a
leg-
rat problem anymore.
Just a potato in the microwave.
I legitimately have 1 hit point, so like sneeze on me, I'm dead.
She's not trying to hurt you. She's just making it kind of like make the hair stand up on you to see if you react in a positive way to it.
Okay. Does it hurt? I don't know. Is
No,
it like
she-
static?
Yeah, basically, it's just kind of your hand, your hair starts kind of like reaching upwards. Do you like run away from it?
No, it's Celine. I trust her, but I'm just gonna like.
As she reaches out to pet you, with you not running away, she kind of says, "Okay." As she does so, it kind of gives you a small, but nothing that you literally aren't 100% used to all of the time. She says, I think they're right. This is. She hands it back to you, Dinky. This is. Zania, what happened? You grabbed her. What happened? How did this happen?
Well,
Trying to get Hao's attention as she says, "You grabbed her. What happened?"
Oh, like this is to how? Oh, I
Yeah.
thought this was to Dinky. And
Yeah.
I could not tell you. She just turned into a rat.
Also,
And,
who are
I-
you? As she looks to Dinky and like stops midway through.
I'm a friend. Can you be my friend? I made a lot of friends today. It's been pretty nice, but
Of course, honey. Are you okay?
I'm fine. I just want my friend to be okay. She was touched by this creepy man with fangs and old decrepit, and he was mean, and I did this face to him, and he didn't like it, and so he just put a curse or something, a hex. I don't know. Think he's scared.
Marcus comes over and says, I can take a look and see what this is, but if I do that, we're not going to be able to get out of here. Is the danger past? Do we want to stay here?
I can make a dome. We can sleep. I'm gonna go up to the satyr. Can I go in the back and cook something? I will pay money to use the kitchen that is currently disheveled. I would just like to do something physically because this is a lot.
I am afraid that the whole inn is going to come down and you want to cook?
Yes.
Fine.
You should also probably heal that hole in your chest. It looks nasty. It's gonna get infected.
Yeah. I'm hoping that I will have some clerical help soon, but everybody
I hand
seems
him
to
a
have run
help
away
potion.
from the center. Or you, Dawson. Is he? He begins pouring it on his open wound. Is he?
It looks really nasty as well. I'm sure that probably hurt.
It did.
Uh-huh. Okay. So Marcus, you can you can fix this, right?
I don't know. Do you want? If we're staying here, then I can look and see what's going on.
I mean, I don't think we have a choice. It looks like Kinak wants to talk with us anyway, so. And if all goes well, we might not have to leave.
Okay. Hand me the rat.
Dinky?
Yeah,
Hands it over.
but you best be careful this time.
Of course, I didn't do anything last time before he.
Dinky, tell them when Hal touched me as a flying being, that's when I turned.
Just too much.
She said squeak, 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 which means
Okay.
Is your voice
Can you-
too high for your mic to
I
pick
guess
up?
I guess it's so high I can't pick
Try it again. It's too high. No, this is just
Some
Will
dog
being like,
way across is listening to the stream, being like, "What the?"
He is freaking the fuck out right
Will
now.
is just
When Hal was
pretending.
a
He's like, I
Quetzalcoatl.
swear it's so high.
when Hao touched her as a Quetzalcoatl, she transformed. Is what she's trying to tell you.
Okay. Good to know. Thank you, Dinky. Before he
Dinky's voice hurts now. You're welcome.
puts his hand like above the two temples of the rat's eye before seems to quickly cast Identify. What? How badly, truly, did you all upset that old man?
I don't know. I gave him gold.
She's, and
Classy.
he hands the rat back to you, Dinky. She's cursed with an ancient and quite powerful magic. It would take a high-level cleric to be able to remove a curse like this. But it did also give me insight into how the curse works. So we just need 2 of the same creature to touch her that turned her into a rat. If she gets touched while she's in her normal form, she will turn into a rat. This is the Rat King's curse. I don't know who you messed with, but so we just need 2 of the same creature that touched her before like realization kind of hits on his mind as he looks to how when she turned.
How's out in the kitchen cooking?
Happy.
How pops his head out of the kitchen? Yeah.
Can you turn into that thing again?
But
Again
turn me
tomorrow.
into it too.
Oh,
I mean, if I'm based on how strong it is, Dinky, you're of the druidic circles. You can shapeshift, yeah?
Dinky can, but I don't know if Dinky can turn that big without some help.
I mean, you saw me do it. Think about. We'll try tomorrow. If you think about the creature, you might actually be able to. For sake of rules, it's a CR2 creature, so if you can turn into anything CR2, you can.
Let's see if Dinky can.
because if you can, Dinky, I can as well. Just have to exert some extra energy,
But I won't be able to till tomorrow, or unless we take like a brief rest. I mean,
I'm going to get rid of a couple of my first level spell slots and use some sorcery points and regain my 4th level spells.
Okay.
I'll count my cooking as a short rest then, and then I'll just use my what's it called again?
Wizard thing.
Yep.
The wizard thing.
Dinky, can you?
Um,
You might just have a polymorph. I don't know what your character has or doesn't.
it's looking like I can't. That saying that at 8th level, my max CR is only 1.
I thought it was a 4th of your CR, so it should be 2, right? Or is that Moon Druid?
That's Moon Druid.
It's Moon.
Okay, got you. Yeah, so you probably wouldn't be able to then.
No.
Oh,
Dinky
really?
can't.
I thought it was all, but I guess it must be Moon Druid if you can't.
Well, an hour I'll be able to once Hal has made this lovely meal, because I'm Hal's basic thing is he's doing the Xanathar's rules on the cook's utensils. Wahoo!
Wow.
Because I can give people, if they short rest, they can also heal an extra D6 if you have proficiency in cook's utensils. Wahoo!
Dinky, you would be able to cast it if you focused on it and spent some time, but you're going to have to take time prepping spells, so a full rest. Just like Zinnia would be able to prep Remove Curse if she had a full rest, and, you know, we're a lion. As, with that, Marcus is going to say, oh, he gives Dinky back the rat and says, well, then we either wait for you to do that, or what's the plan here? Robert says, yes. I'm assuming you all kind of filled them in on what Kinak said, like we want to talk kind of thing.
And how he said we want to talk soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Very soon.
Robert
if we
says,
take this hour, revert Zinnia, we should be good. We should check for if this building's going to fall apart, for any provisions or any corpses that need to be looted.
well, oh, you know I got to give you a GFY for that.
I'll
For
take
bad
the
metagame.
GFY.
Anyways.
The Pegasus ring I know is OP, but like I just want to see
Ooh.
Zinnia with that +1 greatsword.
Actually,
I want to see it so bad.
chat high or low, because that stairwell is on the front of the inn. So we'll see if the body has fallen into the drink, and then I will roll to where everybody can see.
Because a +1 AC ring, and that like just seeing Zinnia with that +1 greatsword, it just come on. Come on.
Come on. Wow, there's like a direct even split. Now I'm
It's
seeing...
still being even.
Right. I'm seeing more lows now, so we're gonna go low. As immediately another high comes up. Yeah, we're going low. Right, so let me pull up the dice cam. Bop.
Sorry, y'all. I'll be right back.
Nat 20, which is not low. So, that body has in fact fallen into the drink. You look over.
Did anything fall from it?
Did anything fall from it? Maybe like a ring might have fallen off of this.
Or a greatsword? Did it drop its greatsword? Rybo.
Rybo?
Well, can I roll persuasion to Rybonator? Can I look through the fourth
I'll
wall?
inspire that. I'll use my inspo for you to do that.
Do you want to use one of my GFYs?
You know what? For a +1 greatsword for Zinnia, I would, as long as the rest of the party's cool with it, I think that's super cool.
How many GFYs do you have, Rybo?
4.
Oh yeah, that's worth it.
Zania?
I'm a rat. I'm biased, obviously.
I'm a rat.
So like
You know, just doing rat things.
biased. I'm biased. I'm gonna say yes, obviously.
Okay, well, Drew's vote doesn't matter then anymore because he's 3 out of the party already says yes. But either way, I
Now,
see that
what
you
if the
wrote
ring?
GFY.
The +1 ring? Is that?
Oh my God.
I'll use all 3 of my GFY. I'm just kidding. Because you would do that one. That's a good
I
ass
would,
item.
because I need it. I'm so skinny.
Oh, I see Drew saying in chat GFY.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Cool.
That's cool.
So, though the body has fallen, you do see a sword stuck through a wooden panel on the side. This great sword, fit for a dragonborn. It in itself has made in a kind of green painted metal a dragon's head mimicking Ithka's as the handguard of it, with a green pommel on the bottom, big bright black leather wrapped handle, and a kind of curved inward and out greatsword to give it a lot of weight at the tip. So it's almost like an axe more than it is a greatsword. A very, very well made thing. But it sits impaled into the wooden part of the building over where the chasm is. So getting it might take some doing.
I'm still cooking, but I do know how I can get it out. But I'm gonna finish cooking first and use my arcane recovery.
I'm trying to. So Dinky is trying to prepare and focus and turn into a giant lizard, bird, duck thing.
Okay.
A quassawaddle.
Are you going to try and get it as a rat, Zania?
Dinky throws Zania over the chasm.
Splits her in half, throws her right on the greatsword. Unless Ren makes a go for it, then How notice it and says, "Whose greatsword is that?" As kind of points it out, but then nobody's going for it. Dinky's focusing on his spells. Everybody else is kind of resting here. But Flint kind of like says, "All right, no offense, but my place is here. I don't really want to go, but I also don't really want to, leave you high and dry. I don't know that guy out there in the whole fountain thing, and I almost lost both of my arms. Would it be righteous if I just sit this one out and go sleep somewhere else for a little bit?"
Wait. Are you the Flint?
Yeah, bud.
The Flint?
Wait, you've heard of me?
Dinky's gonna hop off his stool. He's gonna reach into his pouch and pull out a piece of paper. Can you sign this for me? You walk,
You walk. Oh my God.
brother.
You walk, brother. If you don't have inspo, sure, take one. I hate all of this. As it's so
I've
like,
earned
I'm making
4
my character pretty good.
inspos. I've earned 4 inspos just this session.
It's worth
Amazing.
it. As you go over with a piece of paper, he says, "Yeah, little dude, I gotta say, this is the first time that it's ever happened." As he pulls out a ink quill that he keeps constantly ready, he says, "What's your name, little guy?"
I'm Dinky. Will you be my friend?
As he writes on the paper, he says, "Maybe this will answer that question for you." As you take a look at it, and it's he reads, kind of points it out. He says, "To my friend Dinky, rock on, brother." As he hands it back to you. Hey, Raiders.
Oh, what's up?
In the excitement that Flint has, I said, "Yeah, you should stay here with Marcus and maybe fill him in on that hole in the wall."
Oh, Marcus is like, "I tried to let it go, but since you brought it up, what the hell did you do to my house, Flint? This is why you were never allowed over, man." As Flint says, "Whoa, I gotta say, it was pretty cool when it happened. I didn't mean for it to happen, but we thought we were gonna get attacked. I didn't know the whole magic would blow up too, man. It was crazy."
He's just a man pursuing his dreams, following the beat of his own drum. Let him do what the man needs to do. And then he's gonna fold up the autograph, put it in his pocket, and he's gonna go sit back in the chair and start meditating again and focusing on his spells. Bye, Flint.
Bye, Flint. He says, "Bye, little dude." He's like, No. We're still talking here, buddy. You were... The beat of your drum is the problem, Flint. Quit beating on your own drum. This is not a good thing. You cause problems for other people. That was my home. All of the things that I loved were in there. And you blew it up. I'm upset. I'm upset. I'm very upset. So he says, "You know what, man? Tell you what. That's my fault. I'm very sorry about that. I should have tried something else, but it was the only stone I saw. And, seeing as how it's the date, I thought they should get stoned. There was no way Flint was not going to do a 420 joke."
Thank you.
That's fair.
Thank you. That's very fitting.
Yeah, very good.
It was RP.
Tell you what, I'll talk to my dad. He owns a cart dealership. He can definitely get you all the money you need for a new place. You could come stay at our lake house. We've got one. You can come stay. You're welcome there anytime. He's like, I won't share. How much could he give me for the new house?
Ren is gonna give Marcus a death glare and say, "You use that money wisely."
I was thinking that I would get a new home far away from here in the city.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Perhaps somewhere in the cold north, away from any gambling distractions. They don't gamble,
Sounds
do they?
great.
Then certainly, Dinky, or not Dinky, Flint, I will accept your offer of coin from your father. He owns a cart dealership? Yeah, man, it's right off the turnpike in Kern. It leads right to the northeastern part of the city. It's a big, it's a big thing. Fine.
Hey, Robert. I think
Yes.
you should come with us.
Of course.
You're one of the most level-headed of this group, and I've seen the way you talked with Spade, and I think you have nothing to deal with Kinak, and I think it would be good to have you with us on this.
Of course, I will do what I can to help. I don't want anyone to feel scared talking to him. Spade might even be able to back us up on this if I ask him.
Yeah. We kind of lied to Spade. Probably shouldn't.
Fair, but an option. But I will happily go to the fountain with you.
As you all look out as he says that, there are a number of people starting to crowd around where Kinak stands atop Ithka's head on the edge of the fountain, with his spear sticking out of the forehead.
we've had our short rest now, I'm assuming.
Yeah, we'll say so.
Okay.
Enough time for you to heal on up.
Yeah,
And-
How made like brekkie bowls with like peppers and stuff for everyone, so he's just running around giving people like eggs and stuff.
There wasn't a ton in the kitchen.
So he's just like going giving people things. I think like How being Rothamir, like, so whenever like How made stuff, it was just kind of like, let's eat sweets, but Rothamir like goes around with, like dietary restrictions, like little things like that, as if he has a keen mind and like took note of that. Like people ordering their breakfast and stuff, even like magically, it was just like, oh, this is how I order my eggs. What the and so Rothamir does that. And he goes,
I have an idea. There's the fancy greatsword. If we transform into the coddles, we can touch Zinnia. She transforms, and then both together we could just pull that sword out. They're big enough creatures; it would be easy.
Yeah, if you transform first, I can get an idea. Again, I didn't actually get to take a look at it, but
Okay.
so the roof and stuff is sunken in enough that if I transform into here, it won't be an issue, right?
Oh, yeah. You're a big creature, but the two of you transformed in here might be a problem.
Okay. That's fair. Well, I'm gonna transform, and then I'm gonna try and see if I can get the sword out of the wall myself as this creature. So yeah, gonna cast my polymorph. Turn into another big old boy.
Chad is scaring me.
You going to go ahead and try and grab it out the wall?
Yeah, I'm going
Okay.
to.
Go ahead and roll me a strength check.
Okay.
Just plain strength model, dude.
Let me check on. I think it's only a +2 for strength.
I think that's what you said before.
Yeah. 17.
17. Yeah, as you grab it with your talons, it kind of cuts you a little bit, so you're going to take a point of damage as you're literally gripping
Fair
a
enough.
very, very sharp greatsword. As you begin pulling at the sword, it kind of slams and flies outward. Being that it does so, it kind of pulls and ejects from your feet very, very quickly. You either need to try and make a dex save to grab it, or it's flying kind of towards the chasm. Other people could try and grab it if they'd like as well.
I'll see if I can grab it, and if I can't, someone else hopefully will. Ooh, you only have a +1 for dex. I mean,
They're big
still
boys.
19.
Anybody else reach for it? Okay, you grab it by the handle with a 19, no problem, and before quickly throwing it and landing it as it lands on the floor of the inn.
Then I'm just gonna fly outside, through like, because you said there's a hole into the drink, so it leads outside, or would I have to fly up and around?
It's
I mean, I
a
don't-
hole in the wall, so you just fly out.
Okay, cool. I fly out and I wait outside for Ren to transform, and then we both are gonna high five Zinnia.
I will make
pokes
my
it,
way
I guess.
outside.
Ren, you walk out the back door. Zania, you also begin walking.
Well,
As
Dinky
the little
carries.
rat. Okay, yeah, I was
yeah,
gonna say,
okay.
yeah, you still got her. Dinky and Ren, you've also rested. If there's a desire to do any sort of polymorph, that's an option.
I'm gonna polymorph.
As you all get outside, so Robert is planned to go with you. Marcus is gonna leave it. Flint's gonna actually leave. Do you want Celine there?
No, I think just the main people.
Okay, Celine's gonna stay behind then with Marcus and talk to him about what's been going on. As Dinky, you bring Zinnia out, and Ren begins to transform into another dinosaur-like creature. As you're all outside, you begin to see now there are a couple hundred people that are traveling towards Kinak, and many of them shouting, beginning to praise the savior of Kern.
This can only go well.
As
This can only go well.
suddenly two large pterodactyl-esque creatures appear as a small little child holds up a rat to them right near a dragonborn, like an offering.
Little poke.
Roll me an intimidation, Ren and How. An accidental one.
Natural 1.
I got a 19 plus 7.
Oh God.
One of
Gotta
them
remember you're a coddle now. So you have a
sits-
-3 in charisma.
Oh.
That's a
Minus
-2
3.
then for me.
All right. So take off numbers. So +4, so 19 +4.
Because
No,
one
it's
of them
-3 is
is
the mod.
Oh, okay. So yeah, you take that as you will.
because
don't
one
do
of
math.
them is so unintimidating and just sitting on the ground, and it sounds like it has asthma. It's just just trying to breathe in here in this new air, not from the dinosaur-esque period, you know, message about deforestation and polluting the earth and yada yada. As
I am
one of them
bored.
Right
flies
on.
upwards and does the same cry that you've been doing, Drew. It sounds very good as it flies towards. Some of them might be afraid, but then they see one kind of waddle like a penguin over to Dinky, and so they're like, okay,
His
yeah,
neck
whatever.
is off.
This must be a controlled thing. This kid must know him. As you both approach Dinky, the rat, and Robert.
have the power.
You both
We touch beaks.
touch
Bonks.
beaks. Zania, you suddenly feel yourself reverted back to your regular form as Dinky, you're holding Zania and collapse to the ground.
Zania's now sitting on top of Dinky. He's just like, ugh.
I'm so sorry, God. Sorry. Oh. Oh,
Hold on.
There, revert
Chat,
back.
high or low?
oh no.
Come on.
As this
I
is
inspire
happening.
her to get up gracefully. Guidance.
As this is happening, you know how
God.
penguins occasionally they'll fight with their beaks,
Uh-huh.
and just like pop, 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 pop. I would like to do that.
I like to think they're kissing. As
give all the shit people all the stuff they want. Pop, pop,
I'm
pop,
seeing
pop.
mostly high
Sit
this
long.
time around. So. Oh, you got a high. Robert
Hey,
goes over, and as he's about to reach a hand out toward you, he's like, "Here, let me." Oh, wait, hold on. Never mind. That seems like a bad idea. As he just allows you to get up on your own.
Um,
Oh,
the
ooh.
bird will drop the sword into the ground in front of Zinnia so that she can have her cool new sword.
Just gonna. I mean, I heard it's only people or beings. So I'm just gonna. Ooh.
You grab
Mhm.
the
you
sword.
turn into a rat holding a sword.
It feels heavy in your hand, but also good. The obvious creator definitely designed it to be made after Ithka's image. You have a +1 greatsword, so it'll function as magical and be an additional +1 for
Oh.
hit and damage.
Thanks. How?
I change back. Yeah, all good.
Both of you, I'm back. Ren, are you staying in?
No,
Okay.
I'm gonna change back.
All of you, now in your humanoid forms, stand and look at the crowd that is gathered around Kinak. You begin to hear chanting. Kinak, 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 Kinak.
Are you ready, Zinnia?
No.
Just try not to touch anybody.
Okay. Can you guys like be bodyguards and make sure no one touches me?
And
Yeah.
I can guarantee that we won't let anything happen to you. But
And you know, if he does chop me in half, I'm gonna be with my friends, Team and Gideon. You know,
that's
wherever
not
they
gonna
are.
happen.
So like, I don't know. I mean, you. Okay, granted, you know, I knew him first by pissing him off. So like, yeah, that was my bad. But I don't know. Kinak just does not seem like a cool guy.
Look at it this way: not to speak ill of the dead, but from what it sounded like, the main people that stole the spear in the first place aren't here anymore.
Yeah, they're not dead. They're Recastagon, but they might be dead. I actually don't know if they
Well,
are.
one of them is for sure dead. I watched them bury him in the ground.
Yeah.
But to be fair, yeah. Just keep your chin up.
All right,
Let's
and
go.
nothing. No point in pushing this off. Let's just do it. Let's do it.
As you all get up, do you head towards Kinak?
Mhm.
Everyone,
Surrounded by my bodyguards.
of course.
Dinky wants to lead, and he's gonna say, "Make way, make way, make way, move,
As
move
you
out
get
of the way.
towards
Nice shoes, get out."
Go ahead and roll me a general persuasion. Bless you.
Bless you.
Oof.
Thank you.
Bless you. All right, general persuasion.
Gazutik.
Thank you.
You can do this.
That's a dinky stinky too.
Oh, Dinky, come on.
Oh, Dinky. Oh. What'd you get?
It's a stinky number 2.
Mm. Dinky, as you're like, all right, move out of the way. Nice shoot. Move out of the way. As, they're all, Kinak, Kinak. You're like, please?
Can I use
move.
an intimidation to get people out of the way?
Yeah, absolutely.
Get out the way!
You are currently in your tiefling form, correct?
Yeah. Hey, that's a 17 plus 7.
As Kinak, Kinak, a sudden booming, amplified through magic. Get out of the way! Everyone kind of stops and looks at all of you who stand there. Dinky, hands on his hips now. Yeah, like I said, move.
That's why. Mm-hmm.
As, yeah, Dinky kind of struts as if it was him who caused it. All the four of you kind of surrounding Zinnia here begin to move forward. As Kinak stands atop Ithka's head, everyone, you can hear murmurs and questions before Kinak says, ah, before he pulls the spear and jumps off of the head. You quickly see a familiar face in the crowd. Spade begins walking towards you all.
Chin up.
Ren's gonna look back to the rest of the group and say, "You mind if I do most of the talking on this?"
Please.
Yeah.
Spade reaches you before Kinak does, and he moves to grab Zinnia by the shoulder. You can't see many facial expressions due to his skeletal form, but you can almost hear him seething.
Wait, he touches me on the shoulder?
He comes over to do so.
I'm gonna intercept so that he grabs me and like just say, "Look."
What happens as you're about to say, look, he goes to grab you, step in front. He kind of like quickly tries to push you, and it almost like starts to become like one of those like, I'm a macho guy and you're in the way from me. And he's like, hey, kind of like, squaring up, like he's here
Robert.
for a thing. Robert says, Spade, hold on. Do not touch her. She is cursed. Hold. We will go willingly, but just do not touch her.
Plus, Kinak got us to come here for negotiations.
Just kind of nods his head over towards Kinak, who approaches you all. Says, well. Zinnia,
Kinak.
it's been a long time. Far too long.
It has.
I think it's good, as he kind of looks to the crowd, that there are people here to keep this truly neutral. Don't you?
I agree.
Then let us discuss what happens, as he begins to try and speak loudly to address the crowd, when people steal from me and give my spear to that dead dragon, as he points over towards Ithka's head. Says, yes, this group, and some who are dead already, stole my spear, my son's spear, that I would use to protect the people of Asterion. And they gave it to that beast that killed your families and buried your city in a rubble of acid and stone. Now that everyone knows and is up to speed, what have you to say for your crimes?
I am.
You begin to hear loud murmurings from the crowd, pointing at you all, angry. Some of them crying.
But before Zinnia speaks up, can Ren also shout out to the people?
Yeah, absolutely. Zania, by all means, as Renan's about to talk, you can talk as well. Don't be stopped by people.
True.
I am completely guilty by association. However, everyone else in this group had nothing to do with it. Only I am the guilty one here. If you are to be mad at anyone here, it is me.
I think that's fair. Remove the others so I can talk to the lioness. As Spade puts a hand on your shoulder, Hal, before he says to Robert, he says, "Come on. It's better this way."
I look to them and just nod my head.
Ren, you can also, everybody
No,
do what you want.
I will stay by your side for this.
Stay by Zania.
Ren, you're lucky I can't touch you.
Spade, Spade and Kinak. That's their couple name. Spade pulls at Hal's shoulder to try and pull him away. Robert looks and says, "Are you sure, Zania?"
Please, Robert.
"It was an accident. Believe her." As he follows Spade. Do you go willingly, Hal?
Ren, I know you want to stand by her side, but we made an agreement when we left. Zania calls the shots. We have pushed her to get out of her comfort zone, and I'm proud how far you've come, Zania. God, I'm fucking proud of you.
Thank you, Hal.
But we can't
Please
stand
go.
in front of you. We can't be your shields.
Please go.
You're saying that, and then you're kind of jerked and pulled a little forcefully by Spade, trying to make you kind of hurry it up.
I do that thing where I sidestep around Spade, so it's clear, like, I can walk, and I'm going to go take Ren by the arm.
Dinky?
So we're in front of the fountain, correct?
Yes, you're outside of it. You're not standing in the water anymore.
Okay. And we're like amongst a crowd of people.
Yeah, there's probably about 300 people around you.
Okay.
If it was Flint, he'd blow everybody up, but whatever.
Right. I forgot. I have the wrong character sheet up with me. The statue now topples on top. I think he's gonna. Dinky's gonna follow Hao and Ren and trust Zinnia and trust their judgment.
You all walk away, but look back at Zinnia as the crowd kind of fills in the gaps where you're at, kind of obscuring your view of Zinnia and Kinak. As that seems like a decent place to stop for tonight.
Monster. Absolute monster.
Absolute monster. Zinnia, we will start the next episode ready for you to defend, possibly, your right to live alone, as I think it's a good time to do a giveaway, as you may need a charisma boost with this next token. So if you haven't entered yet, make sure you enter. We'll give it about 30 seconds or so, and then maybe open it back. Okay, if the giveaway did enter. Just kidding. Oh, you did it before. Blue Moon. Okay, Blue Moon, you win. Blue Moon. Congratulations.
Blue Moon.
You can give any player a +2 bonus to any one stat that you would like to give them. You have the token. You don't have to use it right away. However, if you would like to use it right away, that also works.
Blue Moon, I would love 20 intelligence, just saying.
I would love 21 charisma. But
Dinky would like a boost to strength.
Anything.
Congratulations, Blue. Yeah, that seems like a solid place. It was a fun episode. Hope y'all all enjoyed. We'll be back next week, same time. Soon, I will be posting about some more news about an additional couple Red Wagon Inn canon one-shots. Like I said, we're going to do some of those on Wednesday nights over on my stream, because I'm going to start streaming a lot of D&D one-shots, making dice, painting minis, things like that. So that will be kind of canon, most of what happens there for the Red Wagon Inn universe. So make sure you go check that out. with that, unless Blue Moon, y'all be tempting me with that. Blue Moon, you don't have to pick it tonight. You can also add or discuss it at any time in the Discord. But either way, I hope everybody had a great night. Yep.
Don't
absolutely.
forget, tomorrow, my shop update at 3 p.m. EST. You want to buy some of my dice? You want to roll like these guys? Come buy some dice. Help me pay my rent.
That is true. I was about
Do
to say
it.
who's got a shill, but there we go. That's exactly it. Does anybody else have anything?
DiceyEncounters.dice.com.
Two Dumb Brothers Thursdays.
Two Dumb Brothers,
Shoot it
Thursdays.
up, you
We're
guys.
back.
Go check out Jakey's stream. Congratulations on Jackie on getting a home soon. Everybody's having a good time. Woo! Yeah.
We're what we call gamers.
We'll see you all next week. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Jackie, can I get
Later,
a hoya?
gamer.
Oh, yeah.